playoffs continue here at Riyadh Masters as we're getting ready for day number 3. We had eliminations yesterday and we got one more today as we look forward to more of this action.
نبدأ على طول اليوم الثاني من البلاي اوفز في البطولة اللي إلى الآن ما حد قادر إنه يتوقع نتائجها، ما حد كان متوقع أن الفرق اللي الآن بيطلعون بالمسرح يكونوا موجودين في اللور براكت أصلاً، لكن رياض ماسترز 2023 هذه بتكون ذكرى لكل الفرق العالمية معنا في دوتا.
After our final elimination, which is going to be the first series of today though, we got 2 upper bracket series, which means that by the end of today, we will know 2 out of our top 3 teams.
الشيء اللي راح تعرفه اليوم عزيزي المشاهد انه راح تعرف شيئين، مين الفريق اللي راح يكون eliminated من البطولة بعد المباراة هذه لأنها بتكون في اللور براكت، لكن المباراتين القادمة راح تكون في الأبر براكت، نبي نعرف مين اللي بيكون من التوب تيمز اللي معنا في البطولة كاملة. قربنا اننا نعرف مين بيقدر يحصل على هذا التروفي.
They're making their way to this journey to the trophy, and it's a trophy that has been eluding many of these storied players that are in this match right now. Solo and Puppy cumulatively might have more years of experience than all their teammates put together.
أكثر شيء لازم إننا نتحمس له البطولة ولهالمباراة بالذات إنه بيكون قدامنا شخصين من أكثر الفترنز اللي في عالم دوتا، بابي وسولو راح يتواجهون ضد بعض. الشيء هذا ما تشوفه كثير، خصوصاً إنه مع الراستر الجديدة حق تيم سيكرت هذا أول ظهور لهم في اللان.
Both these players have assembled new rosters with a lot of youthful talent, but it's also some untested talent. Now they're showing up on LAN, which is supposedly Puppy's home base advantage. Let's see if he can make it happen, though.
I mean, he said it and you said it as well. He always talks about that true Dota is LAN Dota. So let's see if that's the case. أعزائنا المشاهدين، جاء الوقت نقدم فيه كل الفريقين اللي راح يظهرون على المسرح الآن، لأنه صراحة يبي يكون قدامنا مباراة للتاريخ.
Well then, let's get this started. Let's bring out Eastern Europeans, 9Pandas. Nine Pandas! They started out in the upper bracket here in this tournament, which, if the day's trends from yesterday are to continue, that may consider them the favorite because every single team that came from the upper bracket ended up winning and eliminating the lower bracket teams yesterday.
فريق 9 بانداز بدأ معنا منطقة البلاي اوفز ومرحلة البلاي اوفز في الأبر براكت، وزي ما احنا شاهدنا مباريات الأمس كلها أي فريق يكون جاي من الأبر براكت يكون عنده الأدفانتج ويقدر ياخذ الفوز لصالحه، لكن خصمهم ممكن يخلي المعلومة هذه أو الشيء اللي ممكن يصير صعب جدا، فخلونا على طول نشوف مين بيكونون. رحبوا معنا في المسرح تيم سيكرت. هذا الراستر من أقوى الراسترز اللي شاهدناهم في عالم دوتا السنة الماضية، لأنه كانوا متواجدين تيم سيكرت في السنة الماضية في رياض ماسترز 2022 حصلوا على التوب 4، لكن الآن بيكون عندهم فرصة مع الراستر الجديد هذا اللي فيه أول مرة يظهرون معنا في لان تورنمنت، يمكن يكونون أحد التوب 4 أيضا، لكن يحتاجون طريق طويل لما يوصلونها.
It's been quite a while since we've seen that eyeball logo on LAN, but lest we forget, it was around this time last year at Riyadh Masters 2022 that the old Secret roster ended up getting their groove back and ultimately making their journey to a second place finish at last year's TI.
يعني هم قدرتهم انهم يكونون من احد النهائيين اللي موجودين في رياض ماسترز، زيادة على كذا ياخذون السكند بليس في التي اي السنه الماضيه، يبين لك البوتنشل اللي موجود عند هذا الفريق. لكن الروستر الجديد اول مره لهم في اللان، وبابي دائما يقول انا احب العب في اللان تورنمنت، فالشيء هذا هل بيكون ضدهم ولا معهم؟ ما حد يدري صراحه.
Let's see if they can keep that same energy, or if the cheesiness of 9Pandas might take them down. Let's find out as we all send you to your desks and start this day off right with some Dota.
الكل ما يحب يلعب قدام فريق 9 بانداز فقط بسبب انه عندهم تشيزي درافts دائما، لكن الجيم هذا راح يورينا اشياء كثيره في البلاي اوفز. بالتوفيق للفريقين على طول على الاستديو.
In the play-ins, Team Secret and 9Pandas already met each other. They tied their series then, and since then have took a very different road to get to where they are right now in the lower bracket of the playoffs of Riyadh Masters. And the question is, who has been using their lessons better? And to be honest, Secret coming in here with a lot more data to go off of. We saw 9Pandas already in the upper bracket. We saw them getting knocked down by BB Team, and Team Secret has had every chance to study that series. They had a full extra day to study that series. What conclusions will they have had? And we're about to find out as we are soon ready to head into the draft of game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Faith Beyond, when you're looking at these two teams, which heroes do you feel like are going to be most in contention, as that is what we're going to be talking about with the draft?
I think for the first phase, for 9Panda, it's no doubt they will pick like Broodmother or Doom. And for Secret, I think they can pick Enigma as they picked before. But also, I think for them, the best strategy is they try to get Monkey King or try to pick Oracle, even they don't play before. Because before, when 9Panda against BB team, they looks very struggle against Oracle, this hero. So I think maybe Secret can try it.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea, because the Oracle would do a lot versus a Batrider team too, the way that both of these teams like to play, and Darkseer. The thing is, when you're playing in Secret, most teams opt to ban out 2 heroes, which are the Monkey King and the Batrider, because even though Snapfire is the highest tier hero in this tournament, Secret's success rate with it isn't that high, and their success rate with their Batrider is instead very high. So I think that we might actually see 9Pandas prioritize giving away the Snapfire.
Yeah, and for a long time, Crystallis, of course, with Monkey King especially, his Monkey King was the reason why he made it to top 10 consistently on the leaderboards in Western Europe.
Yeah, it's been his staple for the entire time that he's been in the pro scene, basically. Very, very few teams will get Monkey King banned in the first phase. And Team Secret also has been kind of summon heavy for Puppy, at least. He's had mostly Enchantress games, Chen games, and Enigma, so that could be a possibility. I mean, he's pulling this Chen win rate up in this tournament. He's got a 40% win rate.
He is playing the hero very well. And 9Pandas choose to give away both the Batrider and the Snapfire. So the question for Secret is, which one do they take? They can only take one here, and we have to assume that 9Pandas will take the other. They picked the Batrider for Yamish, like his most successful hero by far this tournament.
And it's very good to see they ban out both Doom and Brood, the 9Panda most pick hero. So I think 9Panda is going into a area they don't are familiar.
It's always interesting when this happens, because they're not, Doom is not like the the best hero of the patch, but they're taking away their most commonly picked. So hey, force you to do something different, and we'll see if it works. And if it doesn't work this game, then yeah, they'll maybe ban somebody instead of Doom next game.
Yep.
9Pandas haven't played Snapfire yet, but if they don't take it here, that is so wild, especially with them picking Enigma in this first phase.
Undying, you mean?
Undying, sorry. Yeah. Wow, that is, they gave it away. Damn.
He has all the control about whether he dies this game. Does he spend too much mana going too aggressive?
I mean, the answer to that is yes. The question is, does Team Secret have a lineup that can punish it when he does do that? And also the question is where they wanted to go with this pick, because Snapfire is still in the pool if they want to, but does that really match up against Storm nice enough for Armel?
I think they can pick Snapfire or Wind Ranger or TA.
Or TA, what do you think?
It looks good, because before we can see in Liquid versus Gaming, Liquid also use TA to play against Storm, and it looks very good. Nisha dominated that game.
True.
10 seconds remaining.
And also, Armel is one of the best TA players in the world. We haven't really seen him shine on that hero in a while because he's been playing a lot of different picks the last couple of years. But I remember like 2 years ago, around the Animator time, he was absolutely insane on this hero. So if you have a very confident TA player and you're putting it versus a Storm Spirit, it's usually a very dominant lane for the TA. And you can also just get that shard around minute 15 and have an extra silence.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's very decent against Undying as well. It's a very tanky hero. Minus armor is a good solution against that, so that's pretty cool. And it gives them a little bit of lane flexibility too if they want to take it off Armel and give it to Crystallis instead. That would at least allow them to dodge some bad matchups that they might experience in other lanes.
I mean, Snap is still in the pool. I would be completely shocked if both of his teams ignored this hero until the very end.
Yeah,
It'd be weird.
This is a like stylish team that 9Panda they don't play this hero at all, and Secret they tried it before, but maybe they think this is hero doesn't fit their team.
It's definitely very surprising because it just feels like it checks all the boxes. It like owns mid, it ganks and rotates so well, and maybe doesn't get solo kills super easy. So maybe that's something that Kiyotaka wants instead, for example. But
It's just so tempting when you see an Undying though to go for something like a Snapfire plus Mars.
Yeah.
And even just like flex it to the position 5, it can do so much for your team. But like Faithian just mentioned, these teams have very unique styles. These teams play in their own way. And Secret did attempt to play Snapfire a lot during the group stages, but they lost more with it than any other team except maybe Shopify.
yeah, there was actually one case of Gladiators playing it against Batrider yesterday that was cool. So when somebody gets lassoed and you cookie the lassoed guy, you don't jump forward, you just instantly trigger the stun. So it's kind of like a lasso solution. Tofu was using it very effectively yesterday for that. So it could be another way that that it would justify the pick here for 9Pandas.
Cool.
I think I saw that happen on Medusa, right?
Yeah,
Actually, on
he did it
Medusa?
so many times. It'd be
That's-
like lasso, instant cookie, stuns the Batrider where he's standing.
That's cool because I thought that maybe Batrider messed up his flame break, but if it was the cookie instead, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Is there also still a chance that this Templar Assassin will be rotated to Crystallis to play it as carry, and then they might still bust out the Snapfire? Or is that just...
I think unlikely. I think they will just put the TA in mid.
I think that you see this Storm Spirit and you can confidently play this TA. And then maybe you just go for more aggressive fighting type carries from Crystallis, the things that he's used to, whereas Armel is the primary form of this game. I mean, I could see a world where they flex it to carry if something like a Timber Saw comes out for 9Pandas, and they want to solve that hero, and then if there's still a good Storm counter in the pool, maybe that could happen, but for now it looks like it's going mid.
Okay. So we got the Medusa, the Drow, and the Morphling banned by the side of Team Secret. All heroes that they removed from Ramsey's pool. Darkseer, Bloodseeker removed by 9Pandas so far. Of course, Darkseer, solid hero for FBZ. Bloodseeker, one of the staples still for Crystallis. And we're about to find out which other ones they want to remove, and it's the Naga Siren. So, of all the common carries left in, I was gonna say it's basically only the Terrorblade, but they'll go for the Lycan instead.
I mean, it makes Terrorblade look better.
Yeah.
But it would make their draft a little bit one-dimensional with TB and TA together. Those lineups tend not to do so good, especially when your opponents are already like setting up for this potential push stuff with Lycan.
I actually think TV plus TA is pretty okay, especially if TA is in a favorable mid matchup, because she won't really need as much recovery time as she would if it were a more difficult lane for her.
Okay, so you think it can work here?
I think they could go TV plus Mars if they really wanted to, because it looks like a great Mars game
You
versus
just
this Lycan.
you want Mars so bad. It is good.
I mean, it's such a good Mars game.
Yeah.
I think Mars is one of the best Lycan solutions in Dota.
What about Legion Commander?
I mean, it gives you kill potential against the two cores. It locks them down. It's a great disable, and it's had a good win rate for a lot of teams.
Whoa!
Hey,
What is this?
that is the first Shadow Shaman pick of this event, and that's cool.
My guess is because they're going to play Bat 4, so this is their 5, and they don't want to play Lion 5 because it needs too much net worth. Maybe Puppy feels justified this way.
I don't know. I feel like if you want a solution to the Storm Spirit with a Hex, Line is always the better answer.
Even from a 5 position where you need Blink
I mean,
Dagger?
just flex the Bat Rider to 5. That's what you should do in a situation like this. But you are right that Secret have always run this Bat Rider on position 4. But is this Shaman a comfortable enough hero for you? I feel like Lycan summons are just going to run at him and destroy him.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like Secret, I was looking forward they can pick some teamfight support like Silencer. But maybe they're afraid of Lycan, but they pick another support without teamfight and still afraid of Lycan. So I think it's very weird to me.
It does have counter push, and you can protect yourself from the Lycan by ward trapping yourself.
That sounds very
Then the
dumb.
wolves can't get to you.
Ward trap yourself.
You're outside the ward.
I mean, I feel you.
It gives them extra push potential, which is what they did not really have before then, unless you count the TA.
Never ward trapped yourself on purpose.
I've done it on
purpose?
accident. I've done it on accident, that's for sure.
I mean, before after first phase, I prefer Secret lineup, but now I think 9Panda is better because they just build their own lineup very strong and they don't care like what they play against. They can play against everything. And now, especially, there's no counter to Lycan.
I agree.
Is this Shadow Shaman going to lane against Skywrath? Because that will be miserable for Shadow Shaman.
I think it's kind of. I mean, he's way faster than you, but you hit like a Treant Protector, so
True.
it's not the absolute worst. Plus, you have huge base damage. You can probably deal with wolves really good, actually, as a support compared to like a lion. I mean, you're hitting for like 80 damage.
What do you mean? They're gonna smack you and you're gonna get maimed later and your attack's
Okay,
gonna fly.
later,
Your
sure.
attack's gonna fly at the speed of a snail. It's gonna be like,
For level 1, you're gonna beat those wolves. You're gonna beat them up.
well, then Skywrath will beat you.
Sure.
You know what I think would be cool? I know I've sung the Mars tune a lot. But hear me out. Hear me out. 9Pandas, they don't really have stuns. They have good run at you heroes. Lycan isn't slowed, so put the Lycan on the safe lane. Let Ramses play it as a carry. Bust out the stun from your off lane, you know? Pick some Mars. Or you could be boring and pick Faceless Void. Whatever.
Well, so far, Team Secret's banning out heroes for Ramses. They ban out the Slark. Also, 9Pandas is banning out Enchantress. Are we not expecting Shaman and Bat to be the supports? What's the deal here? Because I thought we were still looking for a hero for, well, depending on what they do with the TA, most likely we're looking for a Crystallis hero. What could be their thought process? Like, what do they think Bat is the core? Maybe FBC Bat, Legion mid, TA safe lane? I mean, I'm saying it doesn't sound great.
Maybe.
What if it's mid-Shadow Shaman?
They could have more days than us.
That's a throwback. What if they're worried that Enchantress would slow down like Lycan's tower pressure a little bit too much? Because he takes a Helm Dom creep, you enchant it, something like that?
And they ban out the Meepo.
Wait, I mean, I guess they're covering their bases here, right? In case the Bat Rider or even the Shaman is flexed to the mid lane and he is being played as a carry, they take out Enchantress, who as a support hero would have been very disruptive.
Yeah. They're like, we banned out all the carries anyway, and they banned out loads of carries. We're not afraid of what Crystal is going to bring. They will still bring the Terrorblade, though, that we talked about earlier already. So I don't think it will come as a surprise for 9Pandas either.
Yeah, it's no surprise. They didn't ban the TB. I think they are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Especially because they can pivot now into a lineup that goes more aggressive if they so wish. Maybe this is why Team Secret banned out the Luna. Would have been a great carry for accelerating the game.
Yeah, I think 9Pandas still lacks that lockdown that I talked about. One of the answers could be the Lycan Flex to carry, and then you pick like an Axe or a Mars on the offlane, or you could just pick a Faceless Void and use your lockdown through the Chronosphere. That's an option they could take.
Could work. But it is another hero that's kind of weak to Legion duel.
I think maybe Draw Ranger.
Their dive is kind of weak, so yeah, maybe Draw works. It's good against TB.
Drow is banned, and therefore they will go for the Alchemist.
Yeah.
They'll stick to their standard. I mean, that's Ramsey's second most picked hero of the term. He's been playing it constantly.
It's also got a stun, right? That is something that they really needed. They needed their carry to be able to take these engagements later on in the game, start the fights for them, and be that body that Storm and Sky need. So yeah, it's a really fine Alchemist pick. It's good versus TA, the Acid Spray. The minus armor should be very synergetic with the Lycan. And Yeah, it works. I can't see it being pressured too much on the lane.
That's a tower hitter, high HP. If your ulti's going, you don't care as much about getting dueled, for example. Your like survivability to damage ratio is in a good place. So yeah, it makes sense.
I think before Terrorblade coming out, I already think Alchemist is good, but I think maybe they should ban Terrorblade if they want to pick it, because Terrorblade is a team fight. It's so solid that Alchemist and Lycan is very hard to rush in. But anyway, I still prefer 9Pandas draft because I think the 4-man team is so strong. Yeah.
So you think the Alchemist is just kind of a backup plan, fail safe?
It's a good hero, just not good against the Terrorblade, but else is fine. Yeah.
Maybe he's just gonna build Aghanim scepters everywhere. Easy. Now for 9Pandas, I mean, they're coming in here as the favorite. Effie, what's one thing that Team Secret needs to do to be able to win game 1 here?
They need to watch out for Kiyotaka and his rotations in this game. I think they should try to do rune security and make sure that he doesn't play tempo, because if he does, the Lycan's gonna have a really great game because he's always going to have something to play with and a hero to play around. So if they can try to just secure Armal's lane, make sure that Kiyotaka isn't out-rotating, they have a good shot.
Okay, well, let's find out if Team Secret can do that. And let's see how this first Shadow Shaman of the tournament will handle himself in the game. We're heading over to Cap and SVG.
The deck is stacked against Team Secret. Every single one of the teams who got seeded into the lower bracket has been eliminated in the first round. It's only Team Secret remains, and they're matched up against a 9Pandas team who is tough. You're one of the few teams who managed to 2-0 a game in Gladiators. They managed to, well, they probably should have won a game earlier against Bet Boom in the upper bracket. This is a hard team to face, but there are many factors that go into a game, Avery. Players' emotional state could be very important. Maybe the strategic elements. I mean, maybe the draft. Maybe one hero could make all the difference in a game, Avery. Maybe the Shadow Shaman can get Team Secret some wins here.
Oh my God, of course only Puppy is masochistic enough to play this hero. Let me tell you something. I play Shadow Shaman. That's not, if you're playing what I'm playing, that's not a good sign.
If you're new to our cast, you should know that, just a heads up, Avery's going to talk about heroes that nobody picks.
Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Shadow Shaman might be one of the most difficult heroes to win with in Dota right now. This hero has basically nothing going for him. He got everything nerfed during the Mega Stun nerf patch, and this hero is all about stun duration. His range is garbage. His stat line is pretty bad. He has good base damage, but he can't use it because his auto attack is linked to one of the weirdest projectiles in the game. I pray for you, Puppy.
Attack range.
I want you to pop off, but damn, are you guaranteed to have double-digit deaths this game? That is just the way of the Shaman. And that's why there are few players that play this hero. Because everybody wants to be a KDA player these days. Everybody wants to be, you know, 10-0, 10-2, big assist scores. But nobody wants to be the 1-11 that gets the dub. And that's why I respect the Shadow Shaman pick coming out from Puppy, because he's willing to do anything to get the victory, even debase his own kill score at this tournament.
That is going to be interesting, to say the least. We'll see how it works out for Puppy, as it's already, the lane is off to a really awkward start. We didn't really necessarily get a full view of it, but what 9Pandas did there is Antari's body blocked the wave, the enemy wave, from the tier 2. So it ended up meaning that 9Pandas' first wave ends up going into the tower, bounces off of that, and now the creep equilibrium is heavily in 9Pandas' favor. You could see that the Lycan could get just solo experience underneath this tower, not even needing the Skywrath Mage around. So an awkward set of events that 9Pandas have definitely thought well and truly far out ahead to be able to set themselves up for an advantage.
Yeah, this is where, if you're Crystallis, you really want a strong laning support that can win the battle on the side and open up those pull camps. And Shadow Shaman is going to struggle in that regard, as Buffy's having a hard time battling Skywrath Mage plus the Wolves. No fault to his own. I don't know if there are a lot of supports that could really accomplish this task in general.
Yeah.
However, it's an uphill battle. The one thing it will give them in the mid game is some Roche and tower taking capability, which is nice if you can eventually get there. And of course, the lockdown and the Lycan is good as long as it doesn't get interrupted. However, 9Pandas have a lot of interrupts here between the Storm, the Alk, the Skywrath. Tombstone's going to be down. Now, you can also kill the Tombstone with the Shaman Wards. This is a very old school counter.
Okay.
It's quite good.
That's, yeah, that's a thing you could do, I guess. Top lane is also very likely to go very well for 9Pandas because it's an Undying lane against a strength melee offlaner. Yamich's Bat Rider is going to have to pull basically double duty because the Legion Commander is unlikely to be able to do too much to stop this, and Tarius is able to get away. The first meta used and not able to get a kill for it. Ooh, another hit. Solo collects the first blood on FBZ. The Alchemist lane already working out. Just one more factor to 9Pandas' favor. This is an Alchemist that they've run a lot lately. Ramses is super comfortable on it, and like the panel pointed out, they were a little lacking in disables. They wanted something that would help out the Skywrath Mage a little bit more, and we're already seeing put into effect here.
One of the interesting things about this matchup is I think Secret honestly have had better stats than their record shows, if that makes sense. They have 2 of the top 5 KDA players at this tournament, and their 2 sidelaners, FBZ and Crystallis. And honestly, the performances have been pretty damn solid. I think they actually should be in a better position this tournament than they are. I think the games have just been super hit or miss for them, and maybe that's a factor of this team just not having a lot of games together. The team's only existed for a month, so the expectations can't be too high when you're going up against the world best here and you haven't even scrimmed together.
Yeah, that is a big thing about Team Secret that may not be fully known about this squad is that they really haven't gotten a whole lot of time together. Yes, they have some new players, but they seriously haven't because of visa issues and stuff. They haven't really been able to scrim too much. Oh, nice Q play from Miro. A combination of, you open up the easy cam, finally. Finally it's open. Maybe at 4 minutes in, we can finally have some creeps to pull, and then the wolves come through, pull the creep wave, kill your courier, block the camp.
So this is
having a terrible time here.
Yeah, but he understands how to play Shadow Shaman, which is you use your best spell. That is teleport the fountain and get the hell out of there. You're just food for the fodder here. So already I am impressed by the Shadow Shaman gameplay. Puppy knows what's up here.
He's not even walking. He's walking out to base missing 150 mana.
Well, he'll regen it back up.
Yeah. He's not going to regen all that mana back in time.
He didn't lose his courier, though. So, honestly, heads up play. Will not get run into the wolves here.
Oh, so it's Crystallis' fault. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, of course. It's always the carries. It's always the carries' fault. Now, on the flip side, 9Pandas have also been a very interesting team this tournament. They have played 28 out of their 31 games on Dire.
Wow. Really?
This is why Puppy, see, now he doesn't have teleport up. He's missing his best spell. What are you supposed to do as the collapse comes through?
They're going to pump the meta here and try and fight 2 versus 3 underneath this tower. Blood grenades raining in down onto Crystallis. The fact that they're chasing away a Terrorblade when he's popped his meta, it's a terrible sign for Team Secret here. They are just not strong enough to be able to contest these early waves. Look at the wolves. They're just harassing Crystallis constantly. Yamich is only going to get away through benefit of his Firefly and the cliff walking he's able to do here.
Honestly, that wasn't too bad for Secret, considering how strong that early fight is with the Undying and the Skywrath Mage off a Tombstone and Blood Grenades. I mean, your carry survives, you lose Shadow Shaman, that's inevitable. If you can keep Crystallis out here right now, you're going to be super happy, but I think he's just dead. Oh, that courier death hurt him so much. You're missing boots and extra regen that would have maybe gotten you a kill in that fight and helped you survive. Wolves already paying off in spades here for Miro as he puts that micro to work and gives 9Pandas a solid lead. And you got to remember the whole time all this random skirmishing is happening, you have an Alchemist free farming top. Ramsey's getting away with a murder here in the early game as he is going to pull very far ahead. He's just getting solo XP too, so he's going to have a lot of early acid spray levels. If there's any kind of stack action waiting for him in the mid game, he is just going to be gigantic here.
No stacks yet. But one benefit of Alchemist right now is the fact that you have these multiple camps right next to your safe lane tower. So you don't even necessarily need huge amounts of stacks to get a lot of extra neutral farm. Just due to the map setup right now, Shadow Shaman's going to get run down again.
Man, get used to saying that phrase this game. Dude, it's so sad, man. Just let him play the hero. Like, come on. This is why you don't pick Shaman, because every time the enemy team sees a Shaman in game, they just gank you the whole time because they know you're such a beast. They got to shut you down early. 9Pandas, they're bringing the tri-lane to Puppy, and Puppy is not having a fun time here in this early game. He will TP back in and claim some more XP, however.
I think one part that really sucks about these kind of heroes right now is the fact that any of these supports that are quote-unquote free kills when you see them, those free kills are worth a lot more. Like, they're the same detriment to the hero that they've always been. They can still bounce back. They can still have big impact to the mid to late game, but you're giving a lot more golden experience than you used to in previous metas of Dota.
Both these 9Pandas supports are vibing off of it as they are decently leveled here in the early game. I don't know where Puppy's going to get his levels. Man, these wolves are just on him the whole game.
They're going to try and meta kill solo, but it's going to take a lot more than that, I think. He's going to be able to get off one more decay. Okay, he does actually die, and Armel's going to come in and try and slow down Miro. Maybe they can actually get a second kill out of this one. A TP away, no stunts as the Shadow Shaman slowly tries to crawl his way to the fight. It's another part of it about this hero. Slow movement speed.
Yeah, he's pretty damn slow. Need boots pretty fast on this hero. Highest amount of net worth at 8 minutes. That is pretty damn impressive here, as it has basically been Ramsey's playing Alchemist every game. So he has definitely boosted up his GPM numbers. Still, it is not the GPM that is the top stat for this 9Pandas squad. It is the experience per minute, as they hold the 2 #1 slots in the whole event between Ramses and Kiyotaka. They are generating the most experience, the most levels per game on average of anybody. Looking at this mid lane statistic, it's pretty even here. No refills, not a lot of rotations in a mid. An actual true one-on-one, as both heroes are basically level 8 and looking for some kills on the map. Not a huge amount of stacks to fall back on for either squad here. You're getting a couple Ancients up from FBZ for the Templar Assassin later. Still, it is going to be 9Pandas pulling ahead in this game in terms of gold and experience, as Ramses is just untouched. And the towers. I mean,
kills and...
Well, okay, but once you unlock the true power of this secret lineup.
His second best spell on Shadow
That's
Shaman.
right. Well, no, his second best spell is Boots of Speed, but his third best spell is Mass Serpent Ward. And look at the lockdown. You're going nowhere, Kiyotaka, because you just got Shadow Shaman.
Shadow Shaman gets a kill. What a time to be alive. Actually, no, I disagree with what you said. His third best spell is Aether Lens.
No, actually, you're incorrect. It's Tumblr's Toy.
Okay. Then his fourth
Good try,
best
though.
spell is Aether Lens.
That's probably true. Let me tell you something. He did not get Tumblr's Toy. Oh, Puppy. Oh, my God. This is the Shadow Shaman build. It's Brown Boots, Tumbler Toy. You need to pray to Gaben that you get that neutral item, because it make or breaks the hero. Puppy's going to have to do it the hard way at the Fluffy Hats.
Puppy got level 6 before 10 minutes, by the way.
That's true, and he's
so
going to
insta-kill
kill the
Stormfear did
Tombstone.
so much, and he's going to be able to drop the wards. Bye-bye Tombstone, and he gets saved by the press. The attacker turns around and managed to get the Hex off. Is this going to be another kill on the Stormsphere? They don't have further lockdown, though. Puppy was all of it for them, and Stormsphere will be able to zip away. Unfortunately, FBZ did not have that duel ready to go yet again. So...
too long of a cooldown to match the Shadow Shaman's pace here.
Yep.
Nonetheless, Puppy gets the Tombstone kill plus a Wolf and buys a belt, so I don't know if he's too sad about that. The Shaman is doing his job in the early game as Secret get to push this tier 1. They get an Undying. They take out that team fight from 9Pandas. You got to remember, the Alchemist does not want to join these fights until he has the Radiance online. So if you can push the pace here, you are going to be rewarded. Nonetheless, Soul comes back in, and it's enough to dissuade this action, as those Shaman wards were not on the tower. Still, we can see the team fight impact here.
Incredible. Killed it.
It's
Tombstone and a Wolf.
I mean, let me tell you something. There's not a lot of supports that can do that in the early game.
That is, you are not wrong about that. Granted, maybe those supports would have killed a hero, but...
Don't be a hater, Cap. Let him shine. You don't know how much I'm enjoying this right now.
I know exactly how much you're enjoying watching a Shadow Shaman game, because you haven't shut up about the hero for the last 6 months.
This hero's so
We finally
fun.
get a game to cast of it.
I've been
It's
waiting
an
all year. He
elimination
went
series.
shreds, dude. Oh, this is such a Chad Shaman build. It's so damn Chad.
1,400 HP now.
Because he knows what's coming. He knows that he will pay the iron price every fight. It's just a matter of who you take down with you. That's the beauty of the hero. You just sit there, you shackle him up, you drag him down into the abyss with you.
And there is something about the tanky build on Shadow Shaman, is the fact that they one of the very few buffs that Shadow Shaman has ever gotten in the last few years was he actually gets health off of shackles.
Exactly.
So if you are tanky and you get off the shackles, and you're made even tankier by that fact.
This is a build meant to survive in the fights.
And it's a hero that has pretty decent armor as well. So the effective
It's tanky.
HP that you're getting out of the Shackle heal is quite nice.
Now, make no mistake, he will instantly die every engagement after casting his spells. But it will at least hopefully cause enough time that he can set the fight up for their course. And honestly, Secret not doing too bad in this early game. I mean, the Alchemist is the one factor that they have not been able to contest here, as Ramses already has Radiance up. He's insanely farmed. This is just a ridiculous amount of gold, even as the Shovel digging up extra bounty runes and salves. And Blink done at 1240.
Yes, I was going to say, this has to be the highest net worth at this time. He's about to hit 10,000 net worth at 13 minutes. That is insane, even for an Alchemist.
Ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. He's almost so farmed, I don't want him to go to the fights. Does that make sense?
Like you want him to just get like
3
or 4 slotted as quick as possible.
I think he's going to have BKB here at like the 15-minute mark.
And just end the game.
And yeah, you're just roaching at 15 minutes with...
Well, he is going to join in on a fight. Picks up a Blink Dagger, immediately puts it to use by killing FBZ.
Even gets the last hit plus the range creep off the Radiance Burn for an extra 26 Greevil's Greed. Everything is working out for Ramses. Can't kill his own Cobalt, though. A little sad about that one. But he gets a Skeleton Summon. Oh, he is living the dream right now. Taunts for days. Oh, he's printing the money.
Miro pops
where are you going?
But of course, he's going to be shackled for an eternity and then lassoed on top of that one. Tons of disables on this squad, like really long duration disable. Shackles, lasso, duel as well.
Wisdom rune. Puppy needs this rune.
He does need it, but he's not going to get it on target. He's going to be there first. Picks it up, silences, and runs away. Solo going to be the target of some physical damage and a duel win for FBZ.
Secret continuing to find a lot of big kills on this map. Kiyotaka will get some return with the Witchblade. However, that's another Lycan ult that just dies to the shackles into the lasso. That is time for Crystallis and Armel to continue farming up here. I mean, Secret has decent alch answers, right? It's not some crazy free alch game. I think the TA and the Terrorblade can meet him with certain good armor timings, like before you get the AC. Ramsey's going to be susceptible to just getting burst down. Of course, you can reflect the Radiance here. You have some BKB disable in the Legion and the Batrider, and of course you have a press of attack for him going in with the Concoction on the first target.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of feel like you just keep farming. I don't know if you have to press the fight so early with the amount of gold Ramses has. However, when he does join that fight, you need to make sure you win it, which means probably the BKB rush for Ramses here, and that'll be the signal to go.
Yeah, I think BKB and then I think your AC are actually two really big timings for this hero in this game specifically.
I think you do want to go AC versus the TA and the Terrorblade. However, you're adding another ore to get reflected here, so it's kind of weird.
True.
I guess there could be an argument for just the Mjolnir Abyssal build that we saw earlier, if you think you can just all in the Terrorblade. Oh, yeah, it'll be interesting itemization here for Ramses. We'll see what he decides to go for. There could be a Silver Edge build in here somewhere as well.
A lot of options, just depends on how offensive Ramses wants to get here. Secret are going to go for a Roshan steal, another advantage of the Shadow Shaman pickup here. A great hero for assisting in doing Rosh.
This hero does it all, man.
Wow. Definitely not true.
There is almost no support that Secret could be doing Rosh this fast with at this point in the game.
Enchantress, Undying.
Almost no support could provide this level of artillery. That'll be a quick Aegis for Armel. Happy to pick that one up. As 9Pandas, that was maybe their Rosh to contest. Especially with Helm of the Overlord done for Miro. This Golem is incredibly good right now. They're just going to run into it. Yamich, you're gone. Secret will give up a freebie at the end of that. Maybe not too sad they got the Rosh and got out, because that BKB just arrived for Ramses. So if you had that BKB and Helm of the Overlord a minute sooner, you're maybe contesting that Rosh and blowing this game open.
Long sip over. FBZ does have a blade mail, though. He's going to turn back a lot of damage onto Antares, but he doesn't have enough HP to return all of it.
This is the part in the game that is very scary for Secret. Can you withstand these early power spikes between the Alchemist and the Lycan that are just going to take the map over? I don't think you can stand there and fight them back right now.
Yeah, they get kills so quickly, too. Some sort of jump from Stormshore and Alchemist and Mystic Flare, instantly it's 4 versus 5, in a 5v5 that you probably would be losing anyway.
You have to make sure you hold something on the map, though.
It's true. what are you going to be holding? Whatever you hold, 9Pandas is going to get vision of it. Look at this really aggressive wards that they have. They have a ward on the other side of the river on mid. They have a ward set up on this top lane right next to the tier 2 to be able to see TP rotations and rotations through that Tormentor area. Ramses continues his highest net worth of this event, but we have also gone past the fastest game of this event, which was actually 9Pandas and Team Secret in the play-in stage, excuse me. Game 1, I believe, Team Secret demolished 9Pandas in a 16-minute game. But Game 2 came around, 9Pandas pretty much did the same thing right back to Team Secret, and that was just a 1-1 series. So these two teams have a way to be able to break this tie now in a best-of-3 and eliminate their opposing. 6,000 net worth lead for 9Pandas, 10-5 to their favor. And Aegis on the side of Team Secret, but certainly not feeling confident that they're stronger than 9Pandas at this point.
I don't think they're stronger, however, I think they're in a decent position, all things considered. Like, 9Pandas didn't get some crazy fight out of this Helm of the Overlord, plus that BKB timing on the Alch. And at this point, you're still feeling good on the Alchemist for sure, because of how much gold you've accumulated, but you're not feeling good in the sense of you've been able to use it to gain much in terms of swaying this game super into your favor. Like you're saying, 6 or 7k gold lead, it's nice, but it's all in the Alch, right? It's not, you're not gaining anything for your team right now if you're Ramses. That's what I think you're looking for in the next few minutes here. Maybe the Aegis is what's dissuading them right now. However, that Aegis is buying a lot of time for Secret to get into their scale, and Blink is done for FBZ, so you have some dual initiations that are now online alongside Yamich with the Bat Rider. Feels pretty good if you can start finding some core targets on the map. I mean, I think it feels good when you have these Terrorblade illusions pushing out the waves too.
You've got actually TA traps and Terrorblade illusions, so like two different mechanics that they're able to push in waves without actually showing a hero, which, you know, lends to that pick-off that Team Secret has. They may not have as fast damage as 9Pandas, but they have way more disable in that regard. You get 1 Hex into 10 seconds of single target disable after that.
Power of the Rasta, baby. Ooh, big shackle on the wolf up top. He sends it into the nether realm.
Yeah, this has been, Miro's been tracking these guys constantly, but hey, puppy kill the wolf.
Just first
He's
item
one of
Ghost
those 8.
Scepter. This is the pure tank build. 8 wolves.
Oh, he kills 2 wolves.
That's a massive
What other support
boon
could do that?
to the Shadow Shaman here. As he'll prompt a quick smoke. That Aegis is still up for a minute. Secret can find a fight. They're looking for any cores. Lincoln's done on Kiyotaka, however, is going to prevent a lot of the Blink Duel, Blink Lasso initiations.
Looks like an instant setup for the Tormentor, which I guess they've got a dying grab ally. They want to be able to have that one. A dual win, catching Antares here in the river. Well, this team was
Nice
back
pickup.
off doing Tormentor, so
We'll get the
gets
shard.
All right.
And it's going to be Butterfly for Ramses. So this is going to try and counteract this Scotty timing that Crystallis is going to finish around the same point. I think you have to start winning a fight soon, or you're just going to miss too much of this window that the Alchemist has generated for you. I don't know if you're on a strict clock. Your lineup scales pretty well as well, but I do think this Terrorblade TA are going to cause you problems, especially on the Alchemist. If you let them just get the 5 and 6 slots here.
He went the Butterfly. I thought he was actually going to break apart the Radiance and go Butterfly Nullify.
I thought he was going to break it. I think he still wants it for the fight.
Yeah.
Also, just your farm speed. Like, it's still
I mean, you want it for the fight, but then you're going to be reflected on it, right?
BKB is for.
Better get some good value out of that BKB.
Or you can just jump the Terrorblade. Maybe the Dream Start for 9Pandas here. They can all in him.
Man, Reflection is actually crazy good in this game. They get the Lycan, too. Forgot about that one. Feral Impulse.
That's why I'm surprised the TV didn't get banned. Like, it was a second phase Lycan, and Team Spirit didn't take that Terrorblade in the second phase. It went last. This is one of the best matchups for him. Basically getting 1.5 of the hero for free. Let the Dragon do the work here. As 9Pandas will smoke, and they want to start the fight with this Butterfly. Kiyotaka jumping like a madman top. He's solo up here. You gotta be careful with these initiations. I mean, you have Lincolns. It's just you have instant stuns coming out from the Rasta. You get popped very fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't have the range to be able to pop that from the trees. So running forward doesn't actually work for them.
Yeah, what can you do? No Tumbler Toy. First item, Ghost Scepter. Tough game for Puppy. Still, he's only 0-3. And I consider that, you know, that's A tier right now.
Would S tier be like having a kill?
No, I'd probably be like 0-1.
That sounds impossible. For a Shadow
If you're
Shaman.
0-1 in 20 minutes of Shadow Shaman, you're a TI champion. I don't know what to tell you. That's impossible. The fact Puppy's only, I genuinely mean it. The fact he only has 3 deaths in this game is impressing me because he's playing versus Lycan. He had a Skywrath Mage on the lane. These fights are double jumps between the Storm and the Alchemist. If you're 9Pandas, you really want to find the backline first between the Bat Rider and the Shaman, take out the squishy supports, and then remove a lot of the damage that can maybe go into these duels. Keep your
Good
Tombstone
awareness.
alive.
He pushes in the mid lane, but backs off before he's too far forward. Hand up running into a second smoke. 9Pandas hit a really big timing, and they haven't done much with it.
That's what I'm saying.
This last 8 minutes has been very quiet.
They're getting stalled out on the map. It's going to be an aggressive base ward by Solo during the day, though. I think they know this happened.
Yeah, they're spotting, and I'm pretty sure they're going to actually jump for the kill, but Kiyotaka's going to be able to intercept. The Mystic Flare is going to kill FBZ instead of getting the duel with. Now the Alchemist jumps in on top of Armel. He's trying to deal with the Tombstone, but he's getting a little bit tided out. Yamich is going to fall to the Storm Spirit here. Ramsey will clean up the wards for a whole heck of a lot of extra gold.
Unfortunate downside.
Unfortunate downside of Shadow Shaman. Gives away a lot of gold.
They cleared through the Tombstone. A buyback from FBZ, however. That just feels a little too anxious on the trigger. I don't know what your Legion's doing in a buyback situation like this with no duel. And the stuns were just not fast enough. Nobody helps tank the Skywrath ult. This duel ends up turning around on him as the Flesh Golem amps up all the burst coming through. The Shackle got canceled by Puppy. Didn't think he had the range himself there. And then Hex countered by Grab Ally, and all of a sudden you're in a rough situation where the Tombstone and the wards are not equal here. Rough fight for Secret, as they cannot use the strength of this Terror Blade too effectively, and the summons are back onto the Shaman. Ghost Scepter.
Immediately relieved of that stun by press the attack, long zip in. Kiyotaka pulling him back. Now tanky Puppy is just not tanky enough. Another death for the Shadow Shaman as 9Pandas see that opening to take a tier 2.
You just want to go high ground. They have a Tombstone here, and they have all the summons in the world plus that AC on Miro. So it ended up being the Lycan that built it, not the Alchemist. It's kind of an interesting idea because you get this insane butterfly timing that just gets ramped up by the Assault Cuirass with all the minus armor coming through on top of the Acid Spray. And of course, Hal reducing it further. Very difficult to enter this zone control with the armor for Secret's cores right now. You have to displace the
pull
fight.
back onto the Alchemist. They're going to try and burst him down, but a Lincoln's block prevented the duel. But maybe it's for the best. This is a big, bad Alchemist that they are having a rough time being able to put any damage into. Great control onto the Storm Spirit, but not enough. The Shadow Shaman just gets wiped out too damn quickly by Miro.
This timing push is insane right now from 9Pandas. This is what happens when you give Alchemist a completely free game. He is just going to run down a lane with the ball and not let you get to those late game items on your TA and Terrorblade that you need the damage so bad right now. This Butterfly is doing so much work when you don't have these MKBs. That's going to be a second lane on top of a 3-man wipe. No buyback available for the Legion because it was used earlier. Very clutch Lincolns by Kiyotaka blocks that duel. I don't even know if that duel would have been winnable, to be honest.
I don't think so. Like, the idea there is you would have been able to keep the chain disable and keep him from getting off BKB, but they don't have, like, an impressive amount of magic damage they're throwing into it. It's still mostly physical, still mostly trying to get through an AC Butterfly combination that is pretty deadly for this lineup. Nice pickup on Miro, though. They are showing that when they combine up their damage on a hero that does not have Butterfly, it is rather overwhelming. Desolator plus a TB hitting you is going to kill most heroes very quickly.
That's what Secret wants more of right now. They want to find 9Pandas cores on the map so that these pushes don't come through, and Kiyotaka find another solo kill with this newly completed Hex. That is going to be an issue, and he TPs straight back top, still has half his mana. Meta up for 15. Ramsey does not care. He will grab Puppy. Quick Ghost Scepter reaction. He wants to turn.
They got the
bold
duel on him, and they put the damage out fast enough. They're struggling to be able to get the damage through the
grab
front line.
ally.
The grab ally. He gets out of the tombstone, pops his BKB, and now he's going to start walking away from this team fight. Kiyotaka used most of his mana, got silenced up as well. He dies. A little bit of over-aggression there. Plays against Kiyotaka.
This
Ramses,
it's
running out of Chemical Rage, is going to have to back away from this fight. They can't keep this going any longer.
That's a really good setup for Secret. That's what they want, a fight based around the Shaman wards where the Storm jumps in. You can turn on him with the Trap Silence. It's just long enough for the burst to come through at the end of that meta as well. A little bit of an antsy jump from 9Pandas. I mean, I understand Ramsey's going in because he's basically a god right now, and you always have this Tombstone to bail out a duel interaction, something that FBZ is going to have to think about. You gave him a meta fight, however. Nonetheless, Chemical Rage, it's going to be a higher uptime than meta right now as Secret are boldly trying to force this Roshan. Half HP on Crystallis. No Metamorphosis available, and 9Pandas are going to
Here comes Ramsey.
Jam it in.
Looking for a stun. He actually stuns himself. Half his health gone off the Sunder. Plus the disables onto the Undying. No grab ally save here. Oh no, 9Pandas. Not only are they going to be giving up Roshan, but they just gave away a nasty fight where they're going to be losing 3. Thanks to the Shadow Shaman, it'll be a dual victory over Antares.
What was that?
Did he just lose sight of every hero? How did he?
I don't know. I mean, he was holding to the last second. I think Crystallis Manta dodged the initial cast, and then he lost vision or something. We're going to watch it here. I mean, he could easily throw it out, right? He must have got fogged by the single tree or something. Either way, that is a huge misplay here as Ramses gives his life away for free and gives Crystallis a great Sunder target to start this fight out. And then all of a sudden, no Tombstone even gets dropped in this fight. There was no save. There was no long duration control. And the Shackles going to work. The Rasta starting to chant up a storm as Secret find their footing on a Roshan that did not belong to them. And once more, 9Pandas, it seems like every time they get to this 20k gold lead, something goes horribly wrong for them.
Yes.
They have yet to figure out that piece of the puzzle. That is a lot of gold to throw away to 2 cores who are going to scale pretty decently into your Alchemist if you give them MKBs. And one of them has already completed on Crystallis, plus an Aegis. He's a problem. He is a big problem right now. If you let Armel get to an MKB as well, this Radiance, this Butterfly, it all goes out the window. Your Alchemist is not going to be able to jump in and start these fights for you anymore. Maybe Lycanags is the answer? Turn him into a Wolf Ogre.
What do you think about the E-Blade pickup from Antares? He had it in that last fight. Don't think he really got to use it, though.
I think it's another answer to the duel here. Also, just triple physical core for Secret. I mean, E-Blade's never going to be bad in terms of bailing your cores out. In theory, it should also come down to the Tombstone save. It's a nice item here. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Maybe Lotus Orbs and Lincolns are also something you're thinking about, as Puppey is going to lead the charge, looking for a single target
Totem
initiation.
plus a 4-staff. He does have ways to be able to close this gap, as does the rest of the team. They get the duel off. The E-Blade is going to be able to bail him out of the immediate duel victory. They're going to now get the Tombstone save, and now a stun onto Armel. He gets popped so damn quickly. Solo's not even dead yet. He popped out of his back Sunder from Chrysalis. That's going to force Miro away, but they have so much damage thanks to Ramses, who is now fully in charge, and no supporting cast on Team Secret. They wipe through everybody else. Crystal is going to come back and die a second time. A Roshan fight that is won by Team Secret, but then an Aegis fight that is lost.
Dire's middle tower.
How did that fight go so wrong so fast? It's just Ramses jumping in and they can't man-fight him. The Summons and the Wolf coming in on the side. And this initiation goes wrong as that E-Blade saved Solo on the duel, which means he gets a Tombstone off and a grab ally and just stalls up so much of this fight for the big chomps to come in from the Wolf and the Alchemist.
I mean,
you were
somehow
asking if that E-Blade was good.
Armel with Refraction down and stun him long enough that he doesn't even get off Refraction or Cheese. And now they're going straight for the throne.
Yeah, this is leaning on Secret's neck right now as Rangers will use that Wolf form to run away.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably for the best. At this point, you don't want to get caught by a duel, and you've already gotten yourself such a big lead before and thrown it before, not just in this series, not just in this playoffs. It just seems to be a continual problem for 9Pandas. Some of their late game decision making, when they're super far ahead,
it's a little sus, for sure. However, it's improving, I think. And the more games they win at this tournament, it hopefully will get better. the more I watch that fight, the more I realize this E-Blade on Antares is super good, right? Because in the situation where you find the Undying to eliminate the grab ally save, now you have a save for him that bails solo out, which is exactly what happened there. That just makes it really hard to pick a target if you're FBZ. I mean, who are you trying to duel now? I think you just have to pick somebody and hope you have enough physical burst that comes out before a save does.
Or hope that one of your other disables stops the save that's coming in. I mean, that's what the Roshan fight was so good, right? They got a jump onto Ramses, and Puppey was right there sitting on top of the Undying.
To be fair, Ramses got the jump on himself at that fight.
Sure. Somebody jumps somebody.
I mean, that helps, you know, when the enemy carry runs in and stuns himself for 3 seconds.
Ramses did stun himself in confusion. That
I don't know how many
fight.
times that's going to happen. But you are right. If you can jump with the Legion and the Bat and, like, you know, duel somebody and then find the Undying with a lasso, that might be the ideal situation for Secret.
Okay, so we need them to get a duel initiation. And then Yamich is going to stop the Undying. And then Puppey has to stop Antares from saving the Undying. Don't worry, just 3 initiations all at once to stop all the saves. It'll be fine.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. Daedalus finish for Crystallis here, as he will start pumping out some bigger damage numbers.
Do you like
feel it in that last fight, however?
Tormentor choice. Let's see who they get it to. At BZ, so some extra armor, which could be really helpful because he's already being targeted when he duels something. The problem is most of the time it's magic damage that's being pumped back into him.
Armel is meld striking this dragon. He might regret this.
Don't lose your refraction. Oh, Ramses jumps in with the wolf form given to him by Miro, and the stun followed the Bat Rider, stunned up several heroes, and just like that, the game is over.
It was genius indeed. It only takes one bad show, one scan. They instantly pounce. And a 34-minute victory for 9Pandas here, as that pace with the Lycan and the Alchemist with absolute free farm is way too much for Secret to handle. I think there were glimmers of hope in this game in terms of some of the right-click skill eventually coming online, but these late fights didn't even look like it was anything to write home about. The minus armor is just way too overwhelming. You can always run the summons in to cause problems for your support duo here on the Bat Rider and the Shaman, which are pretty bad at controlling the Helm of the Overlord. And then all of a sudden you're stuck in Acid Spray, Howl, you know, these minus armor clicks coming in from double Wolves. It's just way too much physical burst damage. Can't get the armor online fast enough if you're Secret. And sadly, despite all of us giving Puppey our energy, Shadow Shaman will lose a game 0-8. He tried his best.
0-8-10, Shadow Shaman. I mean, Puppey is master of the position 5s, but I'm not sure if even he is good enough to make the Shadow Shaman work in the current meta. It doesn't work here in this game 1, and 9Pandas now have a lead in this elimination series.
Thank you very much, Captain SVG. Yeah, that was one of the freest Alchemist games I have seen in a long time. We have seen Ramses just farming up a storm, and it was very, very difficult for Team Secret to deal with that. And actually, the only time they did deal with it, it was because Alchemist stunned himself. But yeah, let's break this game down. I'm joined by Faith Beyond, by Courage, by Effie. Faith Beyond, this game, 9Pandas, they just looked 7 steps ahead every single time.
Yeah, I mean, for 9Panda, their lineup, I think they picked the most comfortable lineup for themselves. I mean, every role hero is like their most comfortable hero. And also for Secret, they are not like, they lost all 3 lanes and they lost team fight. It looks just no chance to come back.
Yeah, that was a really rough game. Not only was Alchemist completely unaddressed the entire game, it was just a great Lycan game. I mean, at the point that it came out in the draft, the solutions that came out afterwards in LC and Shaman and TB, those were not enough. And I don't feel like they dealt with it too much, because the reason why this Alchemist was untouched for so long was because there was so much map pressure coming out of this Lycan and coming out of the Storm Spirit. And of course, later on, after 9Pandas fumbles the fight, because honestly it was a fumble, they chose to fight without their Storm Spirit. It was okay because Lycan just scales the Alchemist so well with the Wolf Bite. And the last point, let's not forget the beautiful itemization coming out of Ramses. The straight butterfly after his first couple of items in order to fight into the TV played out so nicely.
Yeah, when Alchemist got really good a couple, like 2 small patches ago, that was the build that I first saw him doing, was the Radiance and Butterfly, just because the evasion stacks so well. And this was literally the perfect game for it, because if you look at the left side, you've got Shadow Shaman wards, that's physical damage, you've got a TB right-clicking, you've got a Legion right-clicking, and a TA. That timing made him like practically invulnerable. So, and a lot of attack speed is cool, some armor from it, and he didn't buy an AC then, which allows Lycan to buy it, and you know, he doesn't get it reflected from the TB as well, so it was a perfect itemization. But for me, when I watch 9Pandas, I feel like the story of their team, almost every game, is that their safe lane always goes at least decent. They pick solos, lane dominating hero right away. It's usually an Undying or an Enchantress or something like that, and then him and Ramses pretty consistently get at least 1 kill on this lane. Like the camera will pan up, they've like ran down some support who looked like he was kind of fine. They coordinate so well in that lane, and this game was the perfect example of that because he just got so far ahead.
Yeah, and they didn't even kill support. They actually killed the Legion commander, so I believe it was even first blood. So it was a very strong start for them, and they kept being ahead every single step of the way. For our STC play analysis, we chose a moment in the game where we thought potentially it was a game-ending play in favor of 9Pandas. It's when they wanted to go high ground, and when they decided to look for those kills to, I mean, maybe Faith Beyond, maybe dive a little bit.
But they are just too strong right now, like Butterfly and Radiance. There's just no damage to kill this Alchemist. I mean, this fight looks so like dominant for 9Panda.
He looked in danger, right, with the last. You're like, oh, yeah. TA there, 2 tier 4 towers, he melt strikes, hits him again, it's like no damage is dealt. Yeah, that fight is over.
And the thing is, TB did reach a point in this game where he was strong enough to fight this Alchemist when he had his Scotty, his Manta, his Daedalus, and MKB. The issue is all of the other cores on 9Pandas were also very farmed. The Storm Shirt was very rich, and so was the Lycan, and the Lycan was enabling the Alchemist so well that TV alone could not be up to the task.
Yeah, he also did really good, at least in that top fight near the portals where 9Pandas actually lost that fight. I watched how he played it on this clip through. He ran all his summons in, he attacked Legion once, he attacks Bat Rider once, and now they just don't get Blink Daggers for the start of the fight. So they lost that fight, but yeah, he played really good this game.
Strong showing from 9Pandas in the opening game of the series. I do also want to talk about new hero. We don't see Shadow Shaman very often, and I don't just mean this event. For example, for Puppy, it's been 2 years since he played his last Shadow Shaman match before this one, and before that, it was 2 years prior to that. And we could not think of the last time first. We've seen Shadow Shaman, and now we know why.
I don't know if this game is the best example. I'm always a fan of underdog heroes personally, so it's hard for me to completely disparage the hero. But I feel like the last 2 years of patch cycles have been slightly slower than the previous. There hasn't been quite as much insane shakeup in hero-specific stuff. Obviously, the map changes were great, so I think that's part of the reason. But yeah, the hero's been in this like I'm slow but deal tons of damage period for a long time, and that's kind of hard to reconcile with other heroes that just are faster and in some ways just feel like they do better in lanes.
Nah, I'll disparage the hero, because picking Shaman when you see Lycan is so crazy. It's so crazy. If you wanted a Storm solution, you should have picked up, like if you were going to play your LC, you had the chance to go Sky plus LC, and that could have been your Storm solution. You could have gone Lion plus LC, you could have gone Lion plus Mars, and you could have flexed the Bat Rider to position 5. I feel like Secret's inability to flex this Bat to 5 really bit them in the rear end in this game, because there's no way Shaman gave them what they needed.
Yeah, I mean, from series level to talk about this draft, Shadow Shaman definitely is a bad choice. They maybe should pick something like Phoenix to secure the team fight. But honestly, I very appreciate and I respect Puppy's choice, because in this such big tournament, everybody is fighting for a lot of money, and he dared to pick a hero that no one pick, and he dared to try the new ideas. I think he's trying to like bring the beauty of the Dota to everyone. So I really respect Puppy.
Likewise, we're going to find out if he can force out a third game of this series in game number 2, as we will have to wait a tiny bit for that. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we're back, it's more Dota 2 here at Riyadh Masters.
Despite his name, Solo has been surrounded by teammates for over a decade. His career started all the way back in 2012 in Moscow 5. Throughout the years, he's grown to be a household name within the Dota scene, but it wasn't always that way. His first few years of professional play weren't very successful, jumping from one Tier 2 Russian stack to another. Solo has outlasted many of his former teammates' professional careers, including BZZ, who's famous for his notorious Pugna set, as well as current member of the Eastern European talent team, Go Black. The first time he attended the International was in 2015 with Vega Squadron through the wildcard slot, but was ultimately knocked out by CDEC, who went on to place second at the event. This team featured both 9Pasha and No One, who he went on to play with in one of the most well-known and legendary CIS rosters of all time, Virtus Pro. VP included players Ramses, No One, 9Pasha, Lil, Solo, and later, Roger. Solo played with this team for 4 years and achieved numerous victories, including first at several majors, ESL 1 events, and summits. In spite of this, VP always seemed to fall at the International, only achieving 5th in their best attempt at the Aegis. Since then, he found little success in both Na'Vi and Hellraisers, but since 9Pandas, it started to pick up. At age 32, he sees himself a bit like a dad of the team, captaining an 18, 19, 20, and 24-year-old. Can Solo raise his teammates towards their first trophy?
Here we are. The game just ended. Game 1. 9Pandas crushed. I have a question for you.
Hello, I am the assistant coach for EG. They left me behind. Mom, if you see this video, please contact me on WhatsApp.
I didn't ask you a question. You just started going.
I really need help, Mom. Dad is fine too, but Mom preferably.
That's good. Anyway, this game, I don't care about that. This game just ended. I wanted to ask you.
Kind of a stump a little bit, no?
Kind of a stump. Who's the scarier boss? 9Pandas, they've called Ramses the UFO boss because he kind of hovers around all of them. Puppy with the machetes. Who's the scarier boss, would you say, audience member?
So I think the easy answer obviously would be Puppy, right? But that's what idiots think, right? Because he has machetes because he loves the game and he has passion for it. And so ultimately he just wants the best for you, right? Whereas Ramses, the UFO boss, the difficulty that I always would find is that he might have a lot of last minute requests. He's the kind of boss that texts you at 4 a.m. going, where's my report? Which he's not talked to you about. And he's pinging you as well, like in real life, right? So I would say that Ramses is probably the scarier boss for a really nice mental health / work-life balance.
Right, and the pings are like the rays shooting out of the UFO.
Well, no, they're quite literally on Slack. In fact, he's doing it right now as I'm speaking to you.
Okay, speaking of slacking, we're going to send this one back to the panel.
Just the slacks.
With Shiver.
Ah, shit.
Yep. There's no slacks here. Sorry, guys. What there is here is some Dota 2 that we're gonna watch. 9Pandas Team Secret, and yeah, maybe Ramses is the scarier boss. It's definitely the scarier boss for Team Secret right here, because Ramses in their first game on his Alchemist was the dominating force that led 9Pandas to victory. And we're gonna see if Team Secret has a better answer in game number 2. It could just be in a best of 3. You know, game 1, you can, if you really want to, you can try things out, experiment. Didn't work, so now they gotta decide on where to go next. They've had 2 days to come up with a plan to deal with 9Pandas here, Purge, and the first plan did not work. Down on to plan B.
Yeah, it didn't work so good. I mean, I think some of their heroes were fine. Maybe the Shaman definitely had a big issue in the laning stage. I mean, Puppy, he did a bunch of trading at first. He teleported back to his tier 1, then he stood around for about a minute. I assume that was what he felt was necessary in the moment, but if that was the case, then clearly it's very different than all the other 5s we've seen. So that Shaman kind of messed up the laning stage a little bit. It was successful in some other cases where they locked down the Lycan when he tried to run away, but yeah, drafting is the minimum that needs to change.
The minimum that needs to change, as we are moments away from getting the draft started. And of course, 9Pandas is also going to look at that game. They must be pretty happy with the way things went in that game 1. However, there's a high chance that we have a little bit of a change up in terms of who gets first pick, who gets second pick, and therefore they also need to look at what they are planning on doing. They, of course, went for the Undying, the first phase. They banned out the Monkey King Enigma. Do you think Faith Beyond they'll do the same thing this time around?
Yeah, I mean, for 9Panda, they will they will be confident about their about their strategy. And actually, for Secret, I think their opening is quite well. I think they just need to adjust what they pick after the first phase.
Well, here we go. Adjusting what they need to pick. Team Secret will want to adjust quite a bit. Or maybe they felt like Shadow Shaman was the main reason why Terrorblade came online only a little bit later. We have the same opening bans, of course. We knew Broodmother was going to get removed. Team Secret banned out Doom in the previous game as well in the first phase. We're about to find out if that's what they want to do again. And 9Pandas has said it was Enigma that they banned out together with the Monkey King.
Maybe Secret should take out Undying.
They did?
Okay, because most teams that go up against 9Pandas will take out this Undying because it's the hero that enables these Alchemist picks for Ramses. In the last game, Alchemist went completely untouched because of the free lane that was provided to him by Solo. So I think this is a much better approach. Doom is easier to deal with than this Undying lane secure.
And it just stabilizes so many stages of the game too. It's like the lane goes good, and then when Grab Ally comes in, you're just saving people against so many powerful abilities. Like no matter what you're against, like that 2-second save against duel or stuns is really impactful.
But why pick first phase Batrider then when you know that now 9Pandas could just get Doom Enchantress if they want?
Or Doom Oracle.
Or Doom Oracle. And it's just, I don't feel like, does Batrider deserve the first pick here, Phase Beyond? Like, do you see the value that Team Secret sees in it?
Or maybe they just don't want, like, 9Panda played Batrider, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a reason, maybe.
No, it's just Secret's hero. Like, this is Yamash's most successful hero this tournament, and every team that's gone up against Secret has banned it out. Instead of the Enigma, it's been mostly a Monkey King plus Batrider ban. But I like that 9Pandas recognize that this Batrider is easily exploitable, because last game showed us that they were unwilling to flex it to position 5, which makes it so that the lockdown issue can be very difficult for the enemy team. So they exploited that last game by picking Storm in the first phase, and they did it again in this phase.
Yeah, and they moved Skywrath Mage up in priority this time around. Skywrath is one of Antara's signature heroes, so they're going to be pretty happy having that one under their belt as well.
He played really good last game. His silences were very impactful at many stages of the game. All of his ultimates were like maximum damage, so definitely makes sense to pick it. It beats Shadow Shaman in lane, so it's obviously a good hero.
Yeah. No other hero has ever done that in the history of Dota 2.
No, he did it.
He did it. All right, so we got Templar Assassin coming out again. Armel did struggle a little bit in the lane against the Storm Spirit in terms of last hits, but he was able to catch up. Templar Assassin is a hero that even if your lane is not going as well as, for example, Nisha's Templar Assassin yesterday against the Storm Spirit, TA is always able to catch up in the jungle with stacks, with farm.
But that concerns me a little bit. I hope when I see this TA that it can be more flexible than just the mid lane answer, because when Nisha played it versus Quinn, it looked like the correct choice because of how much he just destroyed that lane. Whereas Kiyotaka did fine on the lane. He was leading in CS actually. Yeah, TA had more denies, and once he was level 5, you felt the pressure being turned up on the Storm Spirit, but it feels like Kiyotaka is too confident in this matchup for this TA to be the solution. And that's the concern that I have. What do you think about it, Faithin? About this TA versus Storm for Secret?
I think it's pretty good. Last game, TA pretty fat. I think it's just they need someone to connect with TA, like pressure with TA or like making space for TA. I think last game it's just because Secret lost to sideline so hard. So TA had a very bad game.
So what kind of heroes do you think can enable this TA? Like supports that rotate to mid lane to take the tower, or supports that just win the side lanes?
I think either you can win a lane, so TA can just pressure this side of the map, or either you are very strong at team fight and you can wait for like 10 minutes when you have level 6, and when TA have some items and you go in with TA to push some tower or something. Yeah.
I see.
Well, we got the same bans coming out of 9Pandas here with the Darkseer and the Bloodseeker. and previously they added the Naga Siren to that as well. Team Secret is a little bit of a change up though, because previously they banned out the Medusa, Drow and Morphling, and now they are focusing more on, well, we did see Miero's Lycan being very strong, and Miero's Beastmaster is also one of his strong ones. They also add the Slark to that, and it will be an Enchantress ban actually by 9Pandas coming out there, and they pick up the Elder Titan.
Yeah, the key difference in Secret's bans are just that last game 9Pandas had the Undying, which would have enabled the Medusa and the Draw Ranger on lane. So this time around, Team Secret respect the pressure that a Summons hero brought to this opener. Lycan versus this opener that they presented was too much. So they take out Miero's other Summoner hero in the Beastmaster, and they take out Slark for security because it's just a great hero versus both TA and Batrider.
Okay, so previously in this position, Team Secret picked up their offlaner and their position 5, saving their last pick for the carry.
I mean, Medusa's kind of cool on Team Secret as well, because like both Sky does have a lot of raw damage, but a lot of it comes from his amplification of his third skill. Elder Titan has a lot of amplification as well. Medusa just doesn't care about those. I don't know if we'll see it here, but it's kind of a cool mechanics thing.
Do you like the clockwork?
That looks pretty solid. He can lane decently well against either Sky or ET, so he gives them matchup potentials there to help stabilize lanes, and initiation to either set up against Storm or counter-initiate, that kind of thing. Break up the team fights, basically.
I feel a little bit worried about this clockwork because I think this hero will not like help you to winning lane very hard, and also no team fights. I think they have to pick something like Silencer or like at least Shadow Demon to make a save in team fight. It will make the team fight easier.
So Bat Core then?
Yeah, Bat.
Look at that win-loss, 6-19. But Puppy did have some wins on the hero. But yeah, this is one of his preferred heroes.
So FBC clock then. Have we seen core clocks before, or do you want to have a core back?
I think it's an FBZ Batrider, which I'm glad they did, because this is one of the better ways to flex since they don't play it to 5, but it's a way to exploit the ET on lane. Clockwork as a hero does shut down ET, because ET can't really cast his spells when he's being battery salted. Also, for around big team fight areas, Ron Roche, your job as the clock is to rocket flare, find the ET, and get on top of him so that his impact isn't there in team fights. But it wouldn't have been enough. If you put this Batrider on lane with him, though, you can actually kill this ET over and over, and it's not so scary of a laner anymore if he's just feeding to your Batrider.
I feel 9Panda is again so comfortable in this draft because actually they open with Storm and Sky before twice, and their strategy is very simple. Like we pick a support with team fight and we pick a tanky offlane. After they pick Storm and Sky, they pick Doom and Silencer once, and another time is Lycan and ET. So in this game, it's the same strategy. Like they just have a tanky offlane and have a team fight support. So it's too comfortable for them.
Because we see this Timbersaw now, you could actually flex this TA to the safe lane to play against the Timbersaw and maybe pick another hero for Armo. But it seems like Secret, or rather 9Pandas, have a read that they're going to play the TA mid anyway. But I'd really like TA as a hero versus Timbersaw these days. It feels like every time I've seen it in this tournament, it's been so effective on lane against it.
Yeah, it has. I'm mostly worried for Team Secret because if they're picking Chen to like group and push, the Timber reaction is kind of perfect. Just the tanky guy that can frontline, make it hard to get killed when you're defending your towers. So just feels like 9Pandas has had an upper hand in almost all phases of this game.
Well, let's see what the teams want to round this out with. We got the Alchemist ban together with the Naga Siren by Team Secret.
There's still Juggernaut, which is one of Ramses' most played.
I think Juggernaut's a great pick versus Batrider and Clock on lane. It's a way to just get farm and put yourself out of harm's way in most cases, and it's one of Ramses' most played heroes, so I think they're comfortably looking at that. It's also just very solid against TA.
I feel so hard to pick a hero for Secret here. I just feel you have to win lane very hard, and you also can you also have to offer some team fights for your team.
Then would you like to have the Templars as a mid, or do you want to pick a mid still? Or does it not make it easier?
I think maybe.
Oh.
Okay, Ursa. Oh.
1 win, 4 losses. Not the greatest tournament for Ursa so far, but we have seen him shine at times.
I feel very hard this lane because Sky and Timber will just keep like cast a skill on you, and it's very hard to lane for Ursa.
They have a Chen at least, so there's a little bit more regen than normal, and maybe he can get lucky and get a heal creep. That could help stabilize his early game. But yeah, he's going to get beat up a lot before the Cornucopia purchase.
Yeah, I don't know. The Ursa looks pretty cool for the first 25 minutes of the game or 30 minutes, and then if it loses one fight, it falls off entirely quickly. And when the enemy carry is scaling and buys a nullifier eventually, the hero feels useless. So the way to play this draft or secret is they're playing on that early rush timing and the Chen pressure, and they're hoping that they don't allow 9Pandas to reach the late game.
Yeah.
But for that to happen, 9Pandas have to have weak lanes, but their lanes don't really seem that weak. Like, yeah, it looks like the ET is going to have a hard time versus bot with Clockwork, but Storm's going to do fine mid, and Timbersaw is going to have a good time against Ursa, even though Ursa's a traditional counter. Timbersaw can just spam out, like we mentioned already.
And that gives them some nice control with the TB pick. They didn't really have the best like casual disables against the Ursa before this, but the TB is going to be just straight up reliable carry, kind of hard to kill. It looks good.
It also counters Templar Assassin, right?
Well, let's find out what's going to happen in the game. But first, before anything else, I want to find out what he is thinking about this draft.
Hi, Heen. Good to be here. Good to hear from you here. So I got to ask, game 1, they kind of snowballed early game. What are the adjustments you made in the draft for this game so they don't snowball on you?
Oh, the first game, I think if our top lane didn't go so poorly, we thought it was an easy game, but obviously, you know, the top lane snowballed into bottom lane, and things didn't go well, so we banned Undying this time around. I mean, I banned Luna too, third phase, because like we thought the game was already kind of in the bag. So this game, taking a different approach, similar draft kind of, but yeah, we haven't changed much.
Okay, final question before I let you go. The Ursa, a lot of people are questioning this hero's viability. What makes this a good Ursa game?
Well, nowadays people are picking a lot of flex heroes, and in this case, we saw that Timber was off lane for sure, and I'm sure like he might not trash the Timber, but I think in the game, you just want the comfort of knowing whoever you lasso or like go on is going to die 100%.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to go to Avery and Capitalist.
Always great to be able to hear from the coaches in particular. Heen, big fan of that guy. Just a nice, humble coach. Always has a lot of great things to say analytically. Always a pleasure to be able to hear his insight into the games. Do you know that I used to cast sometimes with Heen way back in the day, Avery?
That explains why it took him a while to get his career going.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to finally retire from coaching and come back to casting. Replace your ass.
You think I'm going to dignify that with a response?
Welcome everybody to game 2 of 9Pandas versus Team Secret. And what I really liked about hearing from that little interview with Heen was the fact that he openly admitted they really didn't change that much. And a big part of the reason that game 1 fell apart from their perspective was the fact that their lanes, particularly their off lane, which they thought they should have gone better, it didn't go well, and it snowballed into the other side lane, and then you've lost 2 side lanes when you thought you were going to be winning, at least one of them. And it creates a very different idea for the game. Did you see that game 1 the same way that he did, Avery?
Well, not 100%. I mean, you never see it 100% the same way that the players and the teams are going to see their understanding of the lineups, right? Because they've been screaming with heroes. They know what's working for them. They have an idea of how it's going to pan out, even from the first waves.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, I'm humble enough to admit I'm not going to see the same things they are for their lineups. I think that game, I think there were more team fight issues than the laning. Like, I don't even know if the laning was that bad for Secret. I just feel like you're going into the fight with a dual base lineup into the Tombstone in. that was just very rough, right? We've seen this Undying versus the Legion so many times. It's tough on the laning phase and it's tough in the fights. It just doesn't get much better, especially with that E-Blade coming out on Antares later on. It just seemed like a hard fight to get initiations on. And of course, the Alchemist just had Omega free farm. So that's probably the portion that Secret weren't happy with. That Ramses got so much in that game 1 and was just absolutely untouched. And they're going to try and create some more pressure in this type of situation because Clock Batrider can definitely take it to a double melee lane, especially one with an Elder Titan who can't fight the clock, and a Terrorblade who's susceptible to getting all in with some Firefly timings. So if you're Secret, you really want this off lane to just be explosive here, get you into the mid game in a solid position where you have a lot more initiation power that's reliable. The shard traps can help you on the follow-up, and then ideally you're getting objectives for Crystallis on the Ursa that's getting accelerated by the Chen. If that all comes together, I can see this lineup working a lot better than maybe how they envisioned game 1.
Yeah, even better if they can win their safe lane as well, which is the Ursa versus Timbersaw matchup. Now, this is not a strict counter in the laning phase. Timbersaw can actually do pretty well, especially when he's got a 4 position that really pumps out damage, and they could just kind of always keep the Ursa low. We'll see whether or not the Chen is able to offset that. If they talked about a heal creep or just, you know, any sort of lane dominating creep would be a fantastic way to give Crystallis a little bit more of a free time here.
This is still a lane I expect 9Pandas to win over time. Unless you get a sick creep spawn, which also shouldn't be that easy, as you can just spam regen to make sure you body block the camp here.
Yeah, Antares has been really, really persistent when it comes to this matchup against Puppey and blocking away the easy camp. He's just not letting Puppey have anything to play with here in the jungle, which he is usually so proficient with doing.
It's just going to be Penitence and some Blood Grenades to try and boost him through the support battle. It's one of those matches where I think you could almost consider a Blight Orb purchase, as weird as that sounds. However, Puppey is the Chen master, so I trust his decision-making in this regard.
Yeah, but she's going to be in trouble here. Beautiful flame break, though. Pushing back Ramses, as those meta hits were going to be crucial for gaining that first blood bounty for 9Pandas. But good interception there. Well played by FBZ.
This lane is struggling for Secret right now. FBZ is definitely getting taken advantage of in the first portion of this laning phase by Ramses, who is 15-5 to his 6-0. Opening up a very large gap with the Demon here, befitting his name.
Got to put that 666 to use somewhere here. And Solo's even going to be able to get the Lotus. So, as you said, very good signs. The CS, I mean, not only is Ramses walking away with a huge lead, but FBZ is way far behind any of the other cores in this game. So definitely a concerning start, maybe a continual problem for Team Secret. The fact that they think that their offlane is going to win. And if you continue to lose in those sort of matchups, your idea of what was going to happen immediately outside the laning phase becomes a little bit more weirder, a little bit more unpredictable. And as a result, they may not be able to gain ground where they thought they were going to be able to. Armel still continues to do pretty well against Kiyotaka when it comes to this pure 1v1. It isn't being clearly out like won by one person or the other, but Armel is persistently having an advantage in farm.
He's going to have Puppey make a soft rotation behind as well, trying to amp the pressure up. He has Frost Armor going to work, guarantees a man fight win here. It's going to force Antares to base. Secret really want to collapse on this Storm right now. Even Yamich was looking. They just don't have the best supports to run in unless it's just everybody pushing the wave in and diving together.
Well, if he doesn't get a bottle refill, he may be just pushed out of lane passively as is.
Yeah, this is nice regardless. You're at least creating some pressure, giving some XP to FBZ, who really needs the levels here as he went early Napalm. So you kind of want 2 points in Firefly to look for the all-in on the Terrorblade. And it'll be a refill back into mid for Kiyotaka, who desperately needs it here. Pretty much a forced move by Antares, which opens up a little space top. You're not going to pressure Miro too much here, but it's space for Crystallis to at least catch up on the Ursa. Overall,
yeah, if you had like a stun or a
bad.
slow, maybe you could kill the Timbersaw with an Ursa, but...
This matchup's just so rough for Chen. Yeah. Like, this is one of the most miserable offlaners to play against this Chen, because you just don't have much positive interaction versus him. Like, later on, it's not too bad. You have a bunch of heals, you sustain the fight. The Penitence is good for bursting the Timbersaw. It's just in the lane phase, it's usually been a very one-sided affair. And Miro will be able to play this lane 1v2 pretty reliably, which will free up Antares to roam bottom and look for the kills with the meta.
And looks like they're going to have one here. Yamich is slowly taking out to the Blood Grenade. Antares will finally claim the first blood.
Yeah, didn't even need the meta to join that. Nice little pickup for the Skyrath mage. Getting the first blood will reward his roaming. Kiyotaka fighting some wolves here to try and get to his level 6, as that mid lane has become impossible. Puppey even roaming back to mid. They want to pressure with this catapult, trying to abuse the fact that the Storm Spirit has left the lane. This is a pressure point for Secret. You can force Kiyotaka back here before he's 6. Maybe you even get a kill off that with the 3-man dive. Secret are really playing for it right now. Gotta remember, every time you do this, you're giving up pressure on the side lanes, and 9Pandas are up in that tempo as they're pushing both cores deep here.
Kiyotaka was not able to get level 6 off of the jungle, so he's going to TP in. There may be a small little moment here where they can go for the kill. It's going to be close, but he gets a creep kill, and that is enough to get him to 6 and away from danger. Chrysalis, meanwhile, is in some trouble as the tri-lane's going to come his way as a response to Team Secret in the mid lane. He is solo, and he will die.
Oh, what you would have done to have a glyph on that dive play, right? Be able to glyph that wave aggressively, and it's a guaranteed Kiyotaka kill. Instead, he gets just enough XP out of the jungle to make a late level 6 timing. Definitely Armel getting the better of him. However, he's done a decent job to survive here without feeding that kill away and protecting his tower off that catapult push that Secret really wanted something out of, because now their supports are a little underleveled. And of course, you left the bear alone, and anytime you do that, Crystallis is very susceptible up here.
Especially now that it's a level 6 Timbersaw, it gets even worse. Fighting over the Wisdom Runes, Solo, are you going to give up a lot of HP in order to try and secure this? Even then, there is a little bit of mini stuns that might be enough. No, Solo gets the Wisdom Rune, and they'll kill Yamich for it. So, a trade-off that definitely fits to 9Pandas' advantage. 2,000 net worth lead now.
And FBC had to take the other one, so one of these supports on Secret, actually both of them pretty much, as they're both only 3.5, are going to be fairly sad here. I think Puppey can catch up in the jungle, but Yamich is going to have a very slow game on this Clockwork. Last in net worth and pretty much last in experience. A rough place for this hero to be in.
Yeah, this has been a very awkward development for Team Secret. And you said it, their numbers on their cores is quite good, but I'm seeing a pattern here where their supports sometimes struggling in the laning phase, fall behind, and there is still this factor we talked about a lot maybe a few months ago, where if you start falling behind in the laning phase as a support and you don't get your Wisdom Rune, it gets really rough out there. You're going to be minute 12, 13, still not having your ultimate.
Yeah, it's like you're playing Shadow Shaman or something.
Yeah.
That's never a good sign. They will get some Ancient stacks up from the clock, so maybe you can get some XP back that way. That's your best route when everything else gets denied. Puppey's just watching his towers go down. I mean, the Chen is also not amazing when you're the ones getting pushed. You'd rather be doing the pushing instead. Charging up that Ogre Smash.
So you gonna go for the deny here, or is his teammates going to try and rotate over and help him out? Armel is nearby. Just what is the Templar Assassin gonna do? The smash goes down. And the tower attempted the deny, and sadly the Bruiser didn't do quite enough damage.
Did you know that Ogre Smash is one of the only abilities in Dota with punctuation in the spell name?
It has an exclamation point.
That's right, it's not Ogre Smash, it's Ogre Smash! So say
I also
properly.
didn't know it did percentage-based damage.
Well, yeah, because no one can ever land this spell in an actual fight. So if you somehow manage to, you should be rewarded.
Well, then it should be way more than 8%.
I mean, 8% is a lot for like a random ogre. You can get like 4 of them too. What if you hit someone with all 4?
Then that's just the play of the century. You should do like 20%.
Well, if
you get 4 of them, it should be guaranteed kill if you land 4 of those in a row.
With that. It's a stacking debuff that eventually just instantly kills you. And if there's one player I would expect to be able to pull something like that off, is Puppey, the ultimate Chen player, over a decade of playing this hero. Do you know what the #1 player-hero combination is in Dota, Cap? All time.
Every single time this is a bait, but I'm going to say it's Puppey and Chen.
Incorrect. You got baited again. It is the FY Rubik, I believe. But I believe Puppey is #2. Now, those stats are a little misleading because it depends which tournaments you include or not. But the point of this entire rant that is probably incorrect is that Puppey has played a crap ton of Chen over every patch imaginable. And in an elimination game, he busts it out again. His signature hero.
I wonder if there's ever been a patch where he didn't play Chen at all.
I don't think so.
There has to be 1 or 2 out there. So sometimes Chen was really bad.
So his Chen is damn impressive. And he's go out the jungle his way to some levels with the medallion to get that ball going for Secret. Tier 1 tower eventually fell to Miro. It's going to collapse the map a little bit as they can't get a push going of their own. Again, Ramsey's just staying on this safe lane. One of 9Pandas' favorite moves, just stay on all 3 lanes, limit where you can go, be reactive in the fights. Kiyotaka flirting with danger, but of course he has the regen here to pump up all that mana back. And all 3 cores for 9Pandas having a pretty free game as FBZ has been pushed down to catch-up duty here.
Yeah, once again, they have a pretty large net worth lead off the laning phase, but this time they don't have an Alchemist to boost those numbers artificially.
Which feels, I guess, better for Secret.
Well, I was going to say it's even better for 9Pandas.
Numbers-wise, yes, but the Alchemist is not going to... The Terrorblade will not accelerate as fast as the Alchemist.
That's true. It won't be an explosive, like, I am so much stronger than you, I'm ending the game now sort of feel.
I mean, this hero still accelerates pretty damn fast. You can still do objectives, so it's something Secret have to think about. And my biggest concern is just the Batrider. Like, are you going to eventually find momentum for him? This looks a little tough for Kiyotaka. Surprised he's the one doing the Ancients here out of all 3 cores.
Well, it's keeping his levels up. He went from struggling to get level 6 in lane to now being level 10 at 11 minutes in.
Man, Ancients are a hell of a drug here in Dota 2. It seems like the more you abuse them, the better chances you have of winning a game.
I will say that we casted the Liquid series, right, against Game of Gladiators. They put Templar Assassin Nisha 2 times in a row. Hold up, Miro. He's going to be chased here. He's going to get another Timber Chain. Didn't actually take him very far.
Yeah,
that's
that was
awkward.
a little short.
Yeah, he should be clean because as long as he gets max range Timber Chains, they don't have any disables to stop him.
This is a very slow game from Secret. 0 kills at the 12-minute mark. They're going to push out a Boots of Travel for the Batrider. I mean, this is an item that is going to help you catch up and farm on the map. Pretty much a necessity for FPC here. It's still just going to limit their aggressive potential playmaking ability, especially since they just got 6 on Yamich. So you do have Hookshot online.
Finally, but look at Kiyotaka farming right in front of you.
And it will be a Midas for Ramsey. So we were talking about, okay, you don't have to play against Alchemist. So he's not going to accelerate as fast. Well, never mind. He is Alchemist now. And there are those top player hero combinations.
I love how 3 of them are Rubik.
Well, everybody likes playing Rubik.
Also a hero that's routinely good in the meta. Steal spells. What could go wrong?
I mean, that's why I think the Puppy one's so impressive. This guy played like 250 professional games at Chen. That's just...
Again, masochistic, like playing Shadow Shaman.
That's like a medical problem or something. Yeah. I think by the 100th game of Chen, there's either something wrong with you or there is now, you know, there's no way around it. That's just, like I said, masochistic at a certain point. That's why I respect it here. Puppy is willing to get down and dirty for the wins. He'll play anything, he'll do it all. Once more throwing himself into the gauntlet here. What is a difficult Chen game, because you have to play into the Timbersaw, fairly good at dealing with you. You have to play into the Elder Titan, a hero that provides a lot of area control and can counteract some of the auras.
Hookshot not going to be able to get the Cogs pushback, which allows Kiyotaka to jump away. Great response from Intari. He's very ready for that initiation.
He's just standing here, man. He knows there's no threat on him in this game. Very limited lockdown potential. It is pretty much only that hookshot cog in the lasso. There is no other threat for the cores on the map right now, and that is why you're seeing a big 0 up there as Team Secret have yet to find a kill. That is their last tier 1 as well, so you give up this tower mid. You're just susceptible to getting your lanes pushed in from the Terrorblade Illusions while he's farming with a Midas. You can't pressure him, you can't get the lanes in, you're losing map
you can't
control.
kill the Illusions for free or anything like that. They don't have an easy way to push the lanes back out.
I mean, you better hope your scale is good, right? Because you're not getting much else in this game.
Well, speaking of scale, Armel is going to forsake some of his own scale for a faster pace with the Blink Dagger.
This is an extra lockdown tool. I think that's why they really feel like they need it. Because I can tell you, Armel and FBZ, they're from Southeast Asia, man. They don't like the fact that they cannot kill right now. He's going to force the issue.
Almost able to get it, but he might die to the Mystic Flare. The Chen heal goes off. The Cogs pushback. Is that going to be enough? The Invis, Armel, he's trying to stay alive. The reflection is not quite killing him, and he will stay up. Even the Spirit putting a bit of damage on him. Somehow Yamich wants away with like 20 HP. All of Team Secret will live, and they did kill the Storm Spirit for them.
They finally found that hook shot into the lasso on the right target, man. He almost got solo here. That would have been a lot of extra XP, and you're not tanking this ult on the turnaround. He barely dodged it. That is right on the edge of an Earth Splitter. And to the limit on this reflection. Frost Armor from Puppey definitely paid off in this fight.
Oh yeah, big time.
Able to get a big turnaround with Crystallis connecting. 9Pandas find nothing there. The power of the Chen, he saved 2 heroes on 1 hit with that Frost Armor, man.
Very nice.
Give the MVP to the little ogre here. That's the face of a champion.
Terrifying.
Solar Crest done. So these Chen auras are pumping up right now. This is, I think, why Puppey's Chen is so good. He understands how to play the early game with this hero. Now, obviously, not a lot happened with it, but I think his understanding of how to scale with the hero and what it does for your team in the mid and late games is really on point. So that is one of the factors here. Secret are going to probably have to push this game late and just go for the
oh! That was quite the ringer. He just ran 9Pandas through. Dodged all of the moves from Kiyotaka. TP's out, created a ton of space instead of dying, and Secret will get the Roshan off of that.
Yeah, Penitence with a crap ton of auras here. So really accelerate what was a slow early game for Secret, putting Crystallis in a position where suddenly he has Aegis, he has Battle Fury, and he almost has Blink and 100 gold. This Ursa can get really active in the fights, and he has pretty good targets to jump on. He has, in theory, 3 good core matchups, right? I think the Terrorblade one's fine. At least historically, it's been pretty good for Ursa. You just jump on him, even if he sunders you, you still have the Fury swipes up. You just keep laying into him.
Yeah.
The Storm Spirit one is great once you have the Abyssal on Ursa. It's one of the few carries who can instantly lock him down and burst him. And of course, the Timbersaw one speaks for itself. So if Crystallis gets big here, I feel like this is like that Skeeter game we saw yesterday where the Ursa matchups are quite good. It's just what happens if you get to a point where suddenly you're getting kited out. Ursa does have its limits here, particularly Nullifier if it comes out later on the Terrorblade. And 4 stabs for the 9Pandas supports are a big piece as well if they can eventually get to him, which Solo has a drum queued up and Antares does have a 4-stab queued up. So you really want to use this Ursa's window where you can jump on these cores and secure the kills as soon as it's available. And that means gearing up to put everything into your Templar Assassin and Ursa here. It's going to be utilities and auras.
Got him on the lasso. Pull back, hook shot. Oh, the hook shot didn't land, but either way, there was the silence to follow it up, so they would not have been able to kill Kiyotaka. Again, just not enough disables from enough sources. The single target silence is ruining their combo setup from Team Secret.
You have to keep in mind these trap silences, though. That shard is up, so
that's true. They're going to put it to use on to Antares here as he tries to run up the high ground here, and Rage goes off. Crystallis is going to be stalled up a little bit by the sleep. Miro's going to charge forward. Armel's a bit low. Puppey trying to protect him with the Solar Crest. The magic damage, though, should be enough. Armel's going to die before the shot can come out from the Mel. The silence, once again, is going to play out for another kill. Beautiful
Crystallis
stuff.
going back in. He has Aegis here.
Oh, he is going to die. Ramses. Can he and Miro take down Crystallis? He's going to try and get to the edge of the cliff here. Hop down. There's a haste rune waiting for him, but he can't get there out in time. Team Secret will end up losing both of their carries.
Ursa will hurl his body off the cliff in desperation, but it's not enough. As Timbersaw, Miro just cleaning up the backline, just runs the Chen down, forces out a Hand of God to try and save the Templar Assassin. Still not enough there. Armel just needs more survivability here. And Arcane Rune for Kiyotaka definitely pushes this fight over the edge of 9Pandas. Still, he ended up getting picked off by that silence duration on the trap.
Yeah. No, that shard is definitely paid off. The Blink Dagger was the item that did not pay off in this fight.
That is absolutely true, as Crystallis just has to put this team fight on his back. Basically sacrifices everything to try and find the big core kills, and even then cannot get out. So 9Pandas happy to walk away from that fight, at least on Ramses, getting a lot of experience out of that. He is level 15 now, highest in the game, and continuing to put that Midas to work.
Big boy.
These are going to be some high damage cores from 9Pandas. You can't really just go on one and expect to win the fight. You're going to have to get through at least 2. Another big pickoff on Kiyotaka, however.
Yeah, Kiyotaka isn't having the same kind of free game that he had in game 1.
Ramses looks a little sad about that one.
Yeah. You know, he's a big Kiyotaka fan. It makes him sad to see him die. Nice hook shot. Cox pushed back once again on Miro. Tried to go for Timber Chain and TP out, but he was too far away from the trees.
Oh, I thought for a second maybe the Flame Break pushed him farther away before the Timber Chain, but I think he got it out first. He just missed. Another big core pickoff for Secret here.
Oh, they're going to go straight for the Tormentor. Tormentor and Wisdom Rune. This is a very efficient move. Getting 2 core kills like this and taking away these sort of resources. Oh, that's going to feel very good. Yamich is going to get a little jetpack off of that Tormentor.
And you shut down so much of the Storm Spirit's momentum, which means the timing that Kiyotaka has to get to some sort of survivability in this game just went down by a large degree, which means once you get to this Basher on the Ursa and the BKBs on your cores, maybe some more burst damage on Armel, suddenly the Storm Spirit is not that big a threat in the fight, and your ability to just take him down instantly with a small committal goes up tremendously, which is exactly what Secret want. Just create a situation where the burst is as easy to execute as possible here. 200 matches, 70 minutes, think we'll beat it? Probably not. I think this game is going to end decisively around that 40 or 50 minute mark.
Yeah, either the Terrorblade is going to be too big to handle for Team Secret, or they're going to be able to break him down, and the Ursa TA will triumph. Blink away. FBZ could not get the blink out in time. Kiyotaka hits him with the ball lightning damage before it happens, and now they give up Yamich as well. So immediately bouncing back after a bit of an awkward setup there in the top lane where they lost a lot. 9Pandas immediately get a double kill, and they'll turn it into a tier 2 tower potentially.
Secret finished the Deso on Armel, and they're finishing the BKB on Crystallis, so they'll get a little net worth on their cores as Ramses punches down this mid tower. Didn't even have to use meta. Make sure you use that Midas though, son.
It is funny how much
Midas.
I feel like when Ramses is involved,
the Midas.
It's coming. When he's involved, I feel like moves very rarely go wrong for 9Pandas. You know what I mean? When he decides like, hey, I've hit a timing, I'm gonna jump in here. You're really on the edge of your seat about that Midas, huh?
What were you saying?
Oh, nothing. I was just talking about the game.
Well, Team Secret are gonna smoke yours. They're looking for the fight. No BKB on FBZ yet. Just feels a little bad. He'll find a very good target to start on.
Oh, and they're going to get more off of this one. A jump in from long range. Yamich is going to go for Antares while they try and catch Miro, but they use all of their stunts up. So now they have to content themselves with the other support, but even then that might not happen. Soul's going to buy back because Ramsey's joining in this fight with this Scotty. Yamich is going to be left behind. As long as Team Secret can get the rest of their heroes out, it should be fine. Blink Dagger away from Crystallis, and he does have a BKB.
Kiyotaka getting all his mana back on these jumps.
Flame Break, push back. Crystal's eventually going to have to use that BKB defensively. Not what he wanted.
Definitely not out of this first usage. Secret will get pushed back. They do get that buyback on a solo.
Yeah, something small.
It is a victory. FBZ will get bottom lane
is
in.
Insane, man. He just uses all of his mana to dive past a tier 2 like that.
I mean, he wants the MVP. He didn't get the MVP. The Frost Mage will walk it off here.
I thought you were saying he wants like the MVP at the end of the game. He wants his name on the screen.
He always wants that, right?
I'm not sure if using all of your mana on Storm Spirit is a way to get that MVP. We've seen that go wrong a few times for Kiyotaka in the past. But sometimes it goes really right.
He's definitely had his ups and downs. I think this tournament has been slightly more down for him than we're used to. Maybe he just set the bar way too high. At Berlin and Dream League, he was just popping off, so everybody expecting great things right now from Kiyotaka.
I mean, there's just always the downside of having an aggressive player, right? Sometimes he'll win you games single-handedly. Sometimes he'll slip up and lose you the advantage that you had. And I think it's interesting, the setup. 9Pandas is one of those teams where Ramses is definitely the hardcore lockdown, the stable carry. He does make some mistakes, but very rarely, I think. I think most of his moves are all, like, good. Kiyotaka is like the overperformer who does flashy things, who sometimes loses life. But you got other teams like Gaming Gladiators as an example where we talk about Duraccio being the aggressive one from the carry position.
It's more common to have it on the mid.
Yeah, certainly.
FBZ's gonna TP in here.
Wait, what's he doing here? He's got a BKB.
He's
they
got
want to be able
backup.
to take this fight. Kiyotaka has no mana. That's why they're going to jump after him, especially with the hook shot that it lands. As long as that lands, they're going to be good to go on this Storm Spirit kill. They get him, they get Antares. So, Skywrath Mage Good turnaround. FBZ making the right call there and bouncing into the fight that the rest of his team was rotating for.
And BKB finished from the back, giving him the confidence to do that. Deso charges now flowing in for Armel. Another big Storm pickoff that's gonna slow down all the momentum 9Pandas are trying to build in this game, especially with the timings Ramses is trying to hit. This Kiyotaka aggression you were talking about has not worked out in this game too, as he is 1-4 and not found a lot.
Oh, Yule Scepter stopping him.
He's in trouble.
He blinks away. Fortunately, he got the refraction off before the Yules, so.
If that stop lands, you know Ramses is walking over, beating you down. This is fighting for that next Roshan, which is really important for Secret's game plan here. They need it on the Ursa. They need it with this Chen lineup.
Yeah, you have an Ursa and TA lineup. Like, both of those heroes are we must get Roshan. If they were ever to lose Roshan in this game, feels like the momentum is going to completely go out of their sails. A smoke up. 9Pandas.
They have great vision on this fight.
Big opportunity. They're going to jump first once again on Kiyotaka, but where's the follow-up? Disabled to get it. Kiyotaka had a jump, but he didn't go very far away.
Got out.
Somehow he lives through that damage, but Yamich with the long-range hook shot, it's still not enough. But Armel, he jumps after him. Kiyotaka still had another zip away. Meanwhile, Ramsey's struggling to keep heroes on top of him right now. Despite this Scotty, Kiyotaka is going to turn around, control up, they get the Sunder. That is Armel maybe falling, and Kiyotaka lives through it all.
Secret just botched that initiation. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no reason why Kiyotaka should be alive right now. They had full vision on them running in, and he messed up the first jump bad. Something just went wrong in terms of chaining the stuns or getting the burst damage out there.
And they had so many extra opportunities, too. None of it was enough, and now Team Secret, that Roshan, it's going the way of 9Pandas unless this fight somehow is turned around. Puppy, it's just going to be another free kill, it looks like.
I'm going to try and go back on the backside.
Yeah, FBZ's trying to make use of this BKB, see if he can get whatever kills he can. Hookshot goes in. Oh, the damage! The Cogs push away, but the Yule Scepter may have just saved Ramsey's life. He gets off another Sunder. Chrysalis goes for a TP out, and it's not going to make it. The stomp is there in time. It goes from bad to worse for Team Secret as they lose their other carry.
Get absolutely nothing out of that turnaround, and Ramses delivers Butterfly right on cue. It's going to amp up the objective taking here. Could go high ground, could take Roche. You'll definitely prefer Roche here if you can get it on the Storm Spirit. Maybe just give it to the Terrorblade, let him go high ground. Very discoordinated turnaround from Secret as FBZ goes in on the backside, and then all of a sudden Crystallis feels pressured to go in with the clock. I mean, imagine you're all on the same target here. You might get Ramses, right?
Yeah,
this
maybe.
Was fairly close with all the Fury Swipes building up. This Yules from Miro has also paid off huge in this game. Really nice control item for the Ursa Warrior, and it has caused Crystallis problems in a couple of these fights. Unconventional item pickup this early for the Timbersaw, but works wonders here. They have caught Kiyotaka again, however.
The silence is just enough from the TA trap. Nice hook shot, comes into lasso. Gem is going to be on the ground. They're going to try and recover it here on 9Pandas.
Oh,
they're pushing away these heroes.
three.
A beautiful stomp into a greater chakra. Miro's doing a lot of damage to Puppy, trying to chase him down, but now he gets bumped back to the flame break. He doesn't want to be here any longer. Armel's going to chase after him. The burst damage isn't enough. Miro gets a TP back in time. Roshan still available for the taking.
And they did recover that gem. 9Pandas pushing Secret back, gets them their vision in return as Crystallis has to walk out from base. Does have that basher. His all-in burst potential is pretty high. And of course, that Kiyotaka death is going to open up the Roshan. You're going to have to do it through an Elder Titan Spirit, however. That is the problem. How much do you commit here? Ramses, I think he's going to take this fight if he sees an opening. Does not want to give up this objective. Might not have a choice.
Roshan's got to die fast. Miro goes through it. He gets the last hit on Roshan. Meanwhile, Antares comes in from behind.
Another stomp on two.
Drops what damage he can, but the two carries are being controlled up. A beautiful follow-up with the Earth Splitter. Chrysalis is not going to be able to keep his Aegis up, and Antares didn't even die for his positioning. Absolutely insane idea from 9Pandas, but it works beautifully. Chrysalis gets kited around on his second life, and the rest of the supports are going to be tracked down here. As Yamich, last zip from Kiyotaka with a Force Staff to help him get in range, will deliver a Clockwork head on a plate. 9Pandas win another fight around the Roshan pit. This time around, they can go for the high ground.
Yeah, they still have some meta duration here, 20 seconds, man. Solo with these stomps, it's just absolutely beautiful. Clutch stomp after clutch stomp to bail out Ramses to set these fights up there. He catches the TA and the Ursa after an ult, after a refraction gets burned out. That's just easy pickings for the Terrorblade. These team fights have synced up beautifully for 9Pandas. Despite Kiyotaka getting picked off continually in this game, it just doesn't matter. Ramsey's just way too big, way too strong with this butterfly timing. And the Ursa unable to chop through the Terrorblade at any point in this game. 3-0 and 7, this Terrorblade has not died once. And that is vital for 9Pandas making up on the Storm Spirit deaths.
Look at them, they're trying to use the hook shot just to save the building, but it's not enough. The illusions are too powerful with this butterfly. They can't clear through them fast enough.
That was the recovery sequence for Secret, right? They were building a lot of momentum off this game, off the pickoffs. If you got that Roshan and got out, I think you were in a pretty happy position. You do claim it, so you take it away from the Terrorblade. It's just, this fight goes horribly wrong. You had to commit the BKB on the Ursa pretty early here. And the stomp is, I mean, that stomp is just disgustingly good.
And they actually lassoed up Antares, who showed up on that high ground, and he didn't even die.
These supports have been problematic for Secret here. They don't have a lot of backline jump. It kind of has to all go into a single core burst as well between the Bat, TA, and Ursa. It's tough. You have to pick a single target and kind of hope it's enough unless you find the Elder Titan at the start of the fight, which they managed to do once, which prompted that Solo buyback. But since then, Solo has played pretty defensively and just playing behind Ramses, backing up the Demon here. So far, it's worked out pretty well as the runes will be evened out here by Puppy. Find a nice little double on the one rune spot that everybody never takes.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Approaching the 32-minute marker, 9Pandas, a 9,000 net worth lead. They've taken a melee barracks. They might be taking a range barracks right now. Yeah, they do with just illusions.
These Terrorblade illusions have been causing Secret big problems on this map.
Go for the initiation FBC, hoping to be able to burst down Miro. A Cogs push, a little bit awkward, but a self-fuels is just going to land Miro back where he started, in the grave. Dominating kill streak, give it away, so that's a lot of gold for Team Secret, something they really needed.
Yeah, 1,500 here. Level 20 hero as well, so decent time to get some lanes out. Once again, that lane pushing in top and mid with the Terrorblade illusions. There's not a lot that wants to go back and clear these out right now. Ramsey's causing them problems in the fights, problems on the map. And a big problem in the game. I'm just curious. I mean, Armel is not going BKB. This is like the crazy part here, right? You just don't have the spell needed on the Templar Assassin to go in on the burst. Get some ancient creeps now from Puppy. Maybe that'll help you find a golem or something. But it'll be Nullifier for the Templar Assassin. Wants to help deal with the Four Staves, the Ghost Scepters. There's a lot of utility coming out from these two supports. I don't blame them for this purchase. It just feels like if the T8 goes in and gets pulled or silenced, you just evaporate, right?
Yeah, it pretty much leads them to a point where they have to be the initiators on fights. If they get jumped on first, they are screwed.
And it has to be synchronized. You have to go in with either the hookshot or the lasso onto a core and jump your TA and Ursa in, successfully burst that target and take a numbers fight. If it can be the Terrorblade, then you're really happy. That's a big question. Can you burst Ramses in these situations? Do you have enough damage? Maybe MKB on Crystallis give extra confidence to go for that play, because right now it's looking a little sketch. Keep in mind, Crystallis still does have a cheese here. Did not use it in the earlier fight, but there are no buybacks really available, as Ramses will push into the high ground. He wants another lane of barracks here.
Team Secret teetering on the brink of elimination. All it needs is a little push, and 9Pandas are going to give them one. They're going to take a second lane of barracks. No response from Team Secret just yet. To jump in, Shiva's but immediate lasso. Turnaround. Whoa. What a hit from FBC.
That was so damn fast. They're going to get the hook shot. Now
fire hook shot goes out with the Force Staff, a little bit awkward. Pulls the Clockwork way out of position, but he still manages to live. A reset here. Yes, they've taken the lane, but they can still chase after 9Pandas. They want to make sure that 9Pandas doesn't get to retreat for free, but simultaneously still scared of a meta TB.
And these illusions were killing Puppy on the backside. These things are really deadly right now. Nobody wants to clear through him because Crystallis doesn't want to hit him. He doesn't want to use his overpower on random illusions here.
And Armel wants to assassinate supports. We've seen that from his build with the nullifier, so...
He's also scared to show, like, if you just start hitting TV illusions, there's a decent chance you just get jumped by Storm and pulled into a Skywrath ult or something.
Sure.
Once more, another illusion chasing Yamich down on the map right now. My God, I've never seen a team so terrorized by Terrorblade without him even being there. This is an entire wave. They can't do anything.
Yep.
Now sit and watch your map control
It's a
disappear.
siege wagon wave, and it was gonna kill all of it.
And there's another one in mid that's gonna clean up some more siege wagons. Ramses has been absolutely on point with the micro this game, and it has paid off across all 3 cores. Very clutch lasso by FBZ off a slight misjump by Kiyotaka. The Storm Spirit's game has still been very difficult. Kiyotaka not lining things up how we would normally expect from him. That is the one thing Secret continue to punish here.
Now what Secret really need, if they want to be able to get a comeback in this series, stave off elimination, and a 2-0, they gotta get this next Roshan.
And it's gotta be off the MKB finish for Crystallis. The burst damage for the Ursa, this is about as good as it's gonna get for a long time. You gotta drum him in, Solar Crest him in, get onto this Terrorblade at some point and take down Ramses here as Satanic is finished for the Terrorblade. He is fully 6-slotted at 36 minutes here with 600 last hits. This is somehow more disgusting than the last Alchemist game.
Team Secret, they can't fight through the illusions, so a smoke is so imperative for them to be able to get on top of 9Pandas without the heads up. The sad thing is they've done a wraparound. 9Pandas did the same. A dog chasing its tail, just going around in circles, but 9Pandas have a win condition, which is just going straight for the Megas on mid. Now, Secret scrambling to get back in time. An awkward position to jump in. Crystal is trying to go for it. They got the lasso onto the TB, being bumped around. Ramses the target. The stomp is slowing him down. Now the pull-in from Kiyotaka. Ramses is fine. He gets off the Satanic, turning around. He does have a lot of stacks on it, but a force staff gets him to low ground. Crystallis can't finish him off, and they tip him as he heads on down. Bye-bye, Crystallis. Bye-bye, Armel. They don't have the buybacks to be able to keep this going.
Smiley faces in the middle of the fight for
Antares.
Pouring oil on the fire here as Crystallis did not get that cheese off at all. He had it in his backpack and no buy.
Stoking the flames. Ramses gets off a Sunder to pull himself back up to full HP. And they'll just take the Megas. Team Secret have no response to this.
It's going to have to be a last-ditch all-in burst effort onto the Terrorblade without meta here. I don't think Armel has the juice to pull it off.
Hey, Kiyotaka's not going to let them get away with that. He does actually get grabbed by the lasso, so they'll get the pick off on him as they've done time and time before. But 9Pandas, they can just buy back. Immediately jump in from Miro. Blows up the Chen. Another buyback. The last one here for Team Secret.
Crystallis still
chasing after Solo, going for the Elder Titan kill. That's going to be nice if they can get it, but they're struggling to, man. The Nullifier runs out, and then the Ghost Scepters play in. He finally goes down, but immediate buyback once again while Team Secret are running out of lives. Yamich has nowhere to roll to. He's going to try and fly away, but pulled back down by Kiyotaka. Ramses chasing after them. Armel trying to find an opening. What hero can he kill all by himself? He's got support coming in 5 seconds, though.
9Pandas actually going to respect the respawn of the bear here. They don't have meta for 50. Puppy was actually doing some serious right-click work in this fight. He has a
with
quiver.
Megas coming in, Secret are going to keep chasing, but 9Pandas will turn around.
Crystallis in the back. He's flanking him right now.
Oh, he tried to get the jump in lasso, but this time it's Kiyotaka who gets the jump in first. Crystallis pops his BKB in rage.
He's got to bash him.
Kill Ramses here. Nullifier Sunder goes off. Ramses keeps himself alive. And that is all over. Team Secret will be eliminated from the Riyadh Masters.
Despite a very rough game for Kiyotaka on these jumps as FBC had his number and Puppy starting to build up some right click and a drum Solar Crest Quiver Penitence Chen. He will be defeated here on his signature hero as 9Pandas on the back of 2 fantastic performances from Ramses. He just got absolutely out of control in this series. There was no pressure on him from the laning phase onward in both games. Just has basically 0 deaths outside of that one time he stunned himself. It appears that only Ramses can take himself down in this series.
Yeah.
And Secret have no answer for the Alchemist, no answer for the Terrorblade. He ends this game 6-0 and 14. Put the whole game on his back right here with 40k hero damage and a very fast Mega Creeps. damn, did he look good today. And 9Pandas playing around him. That old school synergy. Solo backing up the Terrorblade as he goes in these fights with these stomps. They were exactly on point. 9Pandas going to be happy with another push through this lower bracket. As like you said, none of the seeded teams were able to pull through against the higher seeded opponents here.
And for Team Secret, maybe just an issue of, first of all, lack of experience working together, right? They're still trying to get their synergy. They're a new squad, effectively, with these players coming in like FBZ. And also, maybe just running out of steam in some ways. A reminder, this is a team that did make it relatively far. They played through the play-in. They played through the group stage. They made it here to the playoffs. But ultimately, this is where they'll falter. And 9Pandas will be the team to move on. We've got Tsunami and Ramses here on the stage.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm standing by with the Ramses of 9Pandas, who don't seem too phased. That was a quick series from you, man. What happened?
I don't know. This tournament start for us not that really good. Any day we just get our form and just play better day by day. Like that's it.
رامزيز معانا من فريق 9Pandas كان يتكلم عن مسيرتهم بداية البطولة. يقول إنه صراحة حنا في بداية البطولة ما كان أدائنا كويس، لكن كل يوم عن يوم ثاني يتحسن أدائنا لين ما وصلنا مرحلة أن نقدر نخلص جيم بهالسرعة.
I think we just one team who played like most serious or maps on this tournament. Like we playing play-in, we playing tiebreakers, we playing like a lot of games. That's it.
You are the team that has played the most. That was now your 33rd game of Dota here at this tournament. So then how's your team dealing with like the stamina of keeping up with all these games? Is it, you said it's powering you up, but is there any part of it where you're like, this is kind of intense, this is kind of tiring?
I mean, everyone just love Dota. We just playing Dota, enjoying Riyadh. This is one of the best tournaments of this year. We just enjoy.
زي ما تشوفون أعزائنا المشاهدين، رامزي كان يتكلم عن موضوع انه الى اللحظه هذه هم اكثر فريق لعب مباريات دوتا 2 عندنا في البطوله، لعبوا البلاينز، التاي بريكرز، الجروب ستيج، وايضا الان في اللور براكت، وحتى في اللور براكت كانوا متواجدين 33 جيم كمجموع. فهالشيء هذا هل هم سبب تعب للفريق ولا لا؟ وهذا كان سؤالنا لهم، لكن يقولوا انه صراحه لا، بالعكس احنا كلنا نحب نلعب دوتا، كلنا مبسوطين، وهذه من افضل البطولات اللي احنا تواجدنا فيها، فما عندنا مشكله بالشيء هذا.
On the topic of enjoyment, how are you enjoying this leadership position that you seem to have taken? You're drafting now for this team. It's kind of rare for carry players to take this much initiative. How do you like it?
About the draft, I think I'm not drafting solo. Not solo.
By yourself.
Yeah. But solo is helping me. No Fear helping me. Our team helps. I just click a button and I don't know what to say.
How about in the game, though? Do you find yourself being more of an in-game leader than maybe like how Hellraisers was back in January? Or is it kind of the same dynamic all year long?
I mean, it's all about who have a lead in the game. Like, if Kiyotaka have a good heroes to make space for me, he just calling a lot or just supports. When I'm strong in the game, me take this on voice line in Discord, and yeah.
سألنا أيضا رامزي السؤال الأخير في المقابلة هذه، كنا نتكلم على موضوع أنه هو الآن تقريبا اللي ماسك الليدرشيب بوزيشن من ناحية الدرافت، من ناحية أشياء كثيرة، ما هو فقط سولو اللي هو ماسك الموضوع، خصوصا في الدرافت احنا لاحظنا الشيء هذا، أن رامزي هو اللي قاعد يسوي درافت الفريق. يقول أنه لا صراحة مو بس أنا اللي أسويه، سولو أيضا قاعد يساعدني بالشيء هذا، حتى نوفير أيضا يساعدني في الشيء هذا. لكن جوا الجيم سألناهم أيضا مين اللي بيكون هو الليدر حق الكول اوت اللي ممكن أنها تصير، واللي هو الكابتن حق الفريق. كان يقول أنه ما هو صراحة أنا فقط، هو يعتمد على مين اللي معاه أكثر ليد داخل الجيم، هو الشخص هذا هو اللي دائما يكون اللي يسوي الكول اوت.
One last question before I let you go. Your BB team series that you had earlier, that was also an incredibly intense series, ended up not going your way. How did your team kind of recalibrate after that loss to coming into today?
We had a lot of losses on this tournament, like not a series, but like maps. We play 1-1, a lot of series. It's fine, you know. You need just be ready for the next series. We know we're not eliminated from the tournament. We good friends with Bad Boom. I want to say good luck to them. And we just want to show best Dota.
زي ما تشوفون ايضا سالنا رمزي سؤال اضافي نتكلم عن موضوع خسارتهم في الابر براكت يوم واجهوا بي بي تي مضطروا انهم ينزلون تحت الى اللور براكت وش شعورهم كيف قدروا انهم يرجعون بعد الخساره هذه. لكن كان الجواب يقول بصراحه احنا خسرنا اجيام كثيره في البطوله وفزنا اجيام كثيره ايضا حتى في الجروب ستيج في اجيام كثيره راحت 1-1 كبست اوف 2 فالشيء هذا يعني ما عندنا مشكله وبالعكس يعني فريق بي بي تي انا اتمنى لهم الحظ الاوفر في مبارياتهم القادمه لان الطريق اللي عندهم ان شاء الله بيكون اصعب من اكثر الفرق الثانيه.
Ramses, I love the energy, I love the mentality, and most of all, I'm loving the Dota. Congratulations on this win, and best of luck in this lower bracket run. You're feeling the power.
Yes, for sure. أعزائنا المشاهدين جاء الوقت نروح الآن لرسالة تحليل نتكلم عن التوا السريعة جدا اللي طلعت من 9 Pandas ونشوف ايش اللي ممكن يصير في السيريز القادمة.
Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Tsunami, Fancy, and of course, Ramses as the victor there after this series. Yes, 9 Pandas Road will continue here at Riyadh Masters as they knock out Team Secret. The second game, it was playing out fairly similar to the first game we saw, mostly in terms of both of the side lanes not having a great time on the side of Secret, and that's where I want to start together with Purge, Effie, and Faith Beyond. Faith Beyond this, I want to start with the Terrorblade Elder Titan lane coming out from 9 Pandas. Once again, they are able to seemingly go uncontested on that safe lane.
Yeah, I think it's quite amazing me that they can win against Battle Rider. And also I think every 9 Pandas player play very stable in this game. And I think for Secret, they are just some bad strategy, and they trying hard, but didn't work out. Yeah.
It did not work out at all, Effie.
No, unfortunately not. Secret did have some cool ideas, I guess. They busted out a hero we hadn't seen before in that game 1 on the Shaman. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough of a solution to the Lycan plus Storm. And in game 2, they kind of run back their opener, but they bring out the Puppy Chun, which has a very high success rate. But I think 9 Pandas were just too well equipped for this matchup, right? They absolutely crushed that Chen lane. They delayed Chen's timings very severely with the Timbersaw in the sky, just owning the top lane. And because of that, we didn't really see the impact or snowball around the mid lane around the timing that we usually do. So Kiyotaka on the Storm Spirit was able to catch up, and TB was free farming again.
Yeah, Purge TB free farming again. 9 Pandas looking so dominant here. What was the main reason for you when you went watching?
I basically 9 Pandas got to do the draft they wanted to. I felt like their hero matchups were totally fine. The Timbersaw got a little behind like normal in the laning stage. Like he usually does good the first couple minutes and then he starts falling off when the support's rotating because he's just not independent like the Timbersaw can be. So in those moments where he gets a bit zoned out, that's where Timber gets ahead. Then all of a sudden Timber's high net worth and now Timber can play solo whereas Ursa really can't. So it's one of those strategy things that like, yeah, it was as Heen said, you saw some Ursa jumping and killing people thing, but it makes your game a little bit more limited for sure.
Yeah, especially towards the later stages of the game, we saw this Terrorblade really pop off. We had quite a couple of fights in that second game we saw. For our STC play analysis, we chose a clip that had quite a couple of cool plays, as you called them, Effie.
Yeah, this is actually kind of awesome because Yamich here on the Clockwork has a beautiful prediction on the Storm TP. He zipped TPs to the corner. Here comes the hook shot, boom, right? So it looks really bad for Kiyotaka. He has barely any mana to work with, but he is juking it out, right? He uses his last bit of mana to get to that tree line over there. Armel knows he has no TP, he has no mana, but he jukes in here, gets the Vortex, and they're able to get the kill on this TA instead of what looked so bad for Kiyotaka. This was a very cool play.
It was a cool play, and unfortunately for Team Secret, it was a cool play from their enemies. Not an incredibly strong showing here in game number 2 and perhaps even the series. And a lot of that Purge is due to the early game.
Yeah, the early game's a really big deal. And in fact, I thought Team Secret played their timing quite well. It made their picks make sense. But on the other side, I mean, Dota's a back and forth, really. It's about also reacting to what your opponents are doing. So I have some clips to show you guys. First off, they did a great job limiting Puppy's experience. Puppy really focused on heavy stats to zone Antares, and he did that pretty well because he's got like a 10-15 damage advantage over him, but both of his camps are blocked. And in moments like this, your team gets a little bit ahead, and this overall leaves Puppy a little underleveled. But primarily the mid lane was the important one. Armel did a great job harassing Kiyotaka. Kiyotaka on the Storm had to do things to get more regen. There's bottle refills, he had to secure runes if possible, and this basically just meant that he couldn't play as aggressively and get as much gold in the lane. And this matters because of the 5-minute timing. When you have a Chen, you show up mid and you take the tower with help from your allies. So that's what they're basically aiming to do. So even if Chen is a little bit underleveled, this should still be a nice advantage. You could really see how passive Kiyotaka is playing. He goes to get the water in. Yamich has got it covered. That means Armel's able to get the top one. And the reason there isn't a Sky there is because Puppy spent his time previously, 20 seconds before the last clip, zoning Antares here, fighting him and saying, no, this water rune is for ours. In fact, both water runes are going to be for ours. So this means after a refill for Kiyotaka, he looks at this lane. He's like, I can't go get last hits here because I'm going to die and it's going to hurt me. Sky just stacked this large camp, so Kiyotaka is going to spend his next 20 seconds clearing this stack camp and killing an Alpha Wolf, which leads to that mid-tower play. If you take a look at his levels, he's almost at level 6. Let me zoom in on it just so you guys can really see. I just want this one down here. Almost level 6. He's really, really close. And in a moment, I hold Alt to look at his EXP total. And this part's pretty wild. As soon as he gets in, the clock comes in to gank. He doesn't have ball laning. His experience there was 526. That means he had just enough experience when this melee creep dies to hit 6. If this creep got denied, right now, he doesn't hit level 6. So this is the push timing. The creep dies, he gets level 6, he balls away. If he dies right there, they've got an entire creep wave and a catapult and a Chen. This tower dies, game's completely different, pattern-wise. Like, it is insane. Like, the small little things that happened for Secret's timing at this catapult push to not work. It really changed the game in a big way. That was cool.
I love little things like that that can really show the butterfly effect in Dota 2. So they were moments away from losing their tower, maybe losing their mid. An entire game would have been different, and we might be looking at a third game to a series as well. But hey, that's just not what happened, and it's the little things that add up to big differences. And when we're speaking about big differences, at the end of the game, both 1 and 2, there was one big difference between especially the carry players. We have to choose our Gdia MVP, and we of course chose Ramses because his net worth, both games, I mean, he didn't die on his Terrorblade. He only died once, I believe, on the Alchemist in the first game. He has been farming up an absolute storm. He was the richest man in both games, and impact-wise, Faith Beyond, he nailed it.
Yeah, and of course this is because Secret didn't put some counter on carry player, but still Ramses is did very good job in these 2 games. He just dominated these 2 games.
Yeah, he delivered absolutely everything you would want out of a carry, top of the net worth, joining the correct fights, not giving away random deaths. He was there. And even though Kiyotaka might have had a rough game playing Storm versus TA in both games and getting focused a lot in this match too by the Batrider, Ramses was there to deliver, right? He was leading that net worth over both the TA and the Ursa, and as the game went on, he just scaled better and better. But I would also like to give credit to Solo because he wouldn't have had such a free game if it weren't for his position 5 in both games. We talked about how difficult it was for ET to play into Clock plus Batrider, but Solo only died 3 times in that game too.
It was a very strong showing of the whole team. 9Pandas team effort. We heard Ramsey say it. He doesn't draft alone. A team is a collaborative effort, and we can see that the high amount of games that 9Pandas has been playing at this event, as we heard 33 games now with the play-ins and the tiebreakers and the group stage, and of course dropping from the lower bracket. Ramses and his squad, with all this experience, they are spiraling forward. Not just in terms of their team performance, but also within the tournament, as of course winning here will move them 1 round further in Riyadh Masters, and their next opponent is already known. Is going to be Aster, and we'll see that at some other time, not today though. With this series done, we also have to give some extra closing thoughts on Team Secret, because I think, Purge, that Team Secret reaching top 12 that in and of itself, based on this year's performance, is still something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, they should be proud for getting here. They've still had a tough year, but they beat a lot of solid teams in the play-ins, and they passed some other teams in the group stage to get here. Yeah, it's definitely commendable for them, and we'll see if they can bounce back.
We will see if they can bounce back. For some closing thoughts as well, we head over to Tsunami, who is standing by with Puppy.
Thank you very much. I'm standing by with Puppy of Team Secret. Puppy, unfortunate result for this series, but from an outsider's perspective, this is kind of the growth that we were hoping to see out of Team Secret over the course of the year. It's been a tumultuous year for you, and I'm curious how you feel your team has evolved over these past few series that you've had here at Riyadh Masters.
We have definitely evolved. We can take games off of the best teams, but we can also lose a lot of games too. So, I mean, it comes down to, the match itself. And I think right now we weren't on top of our things. We weren't playing the best. And it's just, it is what it is,
It is what it is, but obviously the journey looking forward, this is your first time on land since last TI. So I'm curious what you have missed the most. Is it the crowd, the stage, and the environment? Or is it more the Dota and how the rapid meta evolves and how intense the games are?
I'm not really sure. Because I think Dota right now is progressing pretty well. I don't seem to have any issues with it. I think they nerfed most of the things. I still think that perhaps Naga Siren needs to get a little chop over there because the win rate is a bit too big. But overall, no, I'm enjoying it.
But is Divine Favor the worst spell in the game?
Oh, it's definitely the worst. I don't scale it.
Okay. I noticed that. Well, at least I'm keeping up some tips from you, Puppy. It's always a pleasure to see you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and any words that you have for the Secret fans who are looking forward to your run as you qualify for TI.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you for rooting for us, and keep the spirits up. We might do it this year.
Best of luck, and back to the studio.
Yeah, thank you very much, Puppy and Tsunami. And we will indeed see more from Team Secret, but not for a little while. Not in Riyadh Masters, not this year. And it is 9Pandas that move forward. They are going to go up against Team Aster in the lower bracket. We have our top 8 guaranteed. I also will remind you that there was an extra $200,000 on top of the prize pool of $300K. That was already there for the top 12. So everybody already in high spirits, but of course the road is long towards that grand finals, and all these teams here in the lower bracket are hungry for it. But we'll have to wait a little bit, because no more lower bracket for today. We can rest easy. Our elimination days, they're on pause. Sometimes you need a little breathing room. An upper bracket series, Effie, that's the best way to relax, no?
I would say so. It's also exciting because we haven't seen these teams play in a day. I wonder what kind of impact a rest day and an extra day of preparation will look for a lot of these teams. Talon versus Liquid should be very exciting because Talon are the last remaining Southeast Asian team, and they looked pretty scary during their series versus Quest. But Liquid, on the other hand, Nisha is in TI form. He was terrifyingly good in their series versus Gaming Gladiators, so who knows what that one's going to look like.
Yeah, I feel like Team Liquid leveled up in their last series, and if they keep that same power level, it's going to be an interesting match, but I don't know. Team Liquid looked really, really good. And the other upper bracket match of the Team Spirit BB Team won, also a fantastic showing. So yeah, it's really good games today.
And you want to make a bold prediction, Faith Beyond, about BB Team Spirit? I know we're going to get your thoughts on Liquid versus Talon during the series. So do you have any predictions for the one after that?
I think Spirit will have the chance, because I think everyone thinks BB team is a very good team, but when they play against 9Panda, I actually think they have some weakness. I think Spirit maybe get the chance.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to that. Of course, that's our series at the final series of the day. Now, as some of you might be aware, we have a schedule where we won't play our upcoming game until the set time, and that's the same thing here. So we had a pretty rapid 2-0 in our first series of the day here in the lower bracket, and that means that our series in the upper bracket will have to be, well, it's not yet. We have to wait a little bit. And for that, don't worry, we got you covered, because earlier earlier this week, Sir Action Slacks was able to sit down with some members of Team Liquid. So enjoy that as we wait for our upper bracket series. Talon versus Team Liquid coming your way